It's the beginning of a new season for the #1 Steelers, but it's the end of a proven season for another #1, the Grand Olds Gang and the Oldsmobile Cutlass. The Cutlass has been bucking the industry trend. It's the top-selling mid-sized car in America, outselling Granada, outselling Chevelle, and the Grand Olds Gang is the leading Olds sales zone in the country for Cutlass, a winning car and a winning team that'll give you a super deal, because the Grand Olds Gang, like the Steelers, are going to stay #1.
You know, you have a nice head of protein there. You notice how I call hair protein? Hair is practically all protein. The beating hair takes, it can lose protein. That can make it look dull and lifeless. This is a greaseless hair groom. It's called Menin Protein 29 because it's got protein in it. Protein that actually gets absorbed into the hair. Yeah, right into the hair. Menin Protein 29 helps your hair look thicker, fuller, really healthy.
Protein 29. It's available in spray, gel, and liquid.
How'd you like to have a beer with the Steelers? Well, you can, with these great new cans from Iron City. The 1975 Super Bowl champion Steeler cans, with Iron City beer on the inside, and the whole 1975 Super Bowl champion Steeler team on the outside. These are really super cans. But then, you're really super fans. So have a beer with the Steelers.
Channel 4, your action news station.
Regularly scheduled programs will not be seen tonight so that we may bring you the College All-Star football game.
From Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois, it's the College All-Stars versus the National Football League champion Pittsburgh Steelers in the 42nd College All-Star football game. This ABC Sports Exclusive brought to you by Mutual of New York. Insurance for life, health, and retirement, individual or group, money for the future. By Sears Tire and Auto Centers, home of the Die-Hard battery, and the Sears Road Handler steel-belted radial tire. By Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer, since 1844, the quality has always come through. And by Schick Super 2, the twin-blade cartridge with Teflon that makes closeness comfortable. Well, after a year off, the traditional lid lifter for the football season is back in good health. The College All-Stars against the NFL champions being played as usual in Chicago. And opening at quarterback for the College All-Stars, the #1 pick of them all, Steve Bartkowski of California, now the property of the Atlanta Falcons. Another quarterback you'll see tonight, Steve Joachim of Temple, now property of the Baltimore Colts, the total offense leader a year ago in college football. Well, Messrs. Bartkowski and Joachim and the rest of the College All-Stars will have some pressure tonight. From the Steel Curtain, number 68, Elsie Greenwood, 75, Joe Green, 63, Ernie Holmes, and 78, Dwight White. Remember, in the Super Bowl, these people held the Minnesota Vikings to only 17 yards on the ground. Number 32, one of those rare big backs that can fly. Franco Harris gained over 1,000 yards a year ago and was the MVP in the Super Bowl. The Steeler quarterback, Terry Bradshaw, checks in at a sleek 201 pounds for 1975, brimming with the confidence that comes from winning it all. Well, those are just some of the principals you'll be watching tonight. Hello, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson. I'll be calling the play for the ball game tonight, and I suppose the foundation for this game rests in the simple fact that the collegians would love to beat the professional champions, but the mere suggestion of it is enough to make the Pittsburgh Steelers dyspeptic. I'm sort of surrounded with all-stars myself. Seating right here next to me, as cool as he can be, is a man who was involved in the first all-star victory. It came over the Green Bay Packers back in 1937. The score was 6-0. In 1949, he came back to coach the College All-Stars, and he was drummed by the Philadelphia Eagles 38-0. Now, I don't know what that tells you, but nonetheless, here is the great one from Oklahoma, Bud Wilkinson.
That tells you the pros are getting a lot better, Chief. Actually, I think this year the All-Stars are very fortunate to have a brilliant man like John McKay of Southern California coaching them. He's got that rare combination of relaxed discipline and good humor that keeps an all-star squad happy, and he's practiced them only once a day, and that tends also to have good feeling in a camp where you know you're only going to be there for a short period of time and then go to your respective pro teams. To try to look at it candidly, though, how are the All-Stars going to win against a superior organization like the Steelers? I believe they've got an edge in the kicking game. Mickemeyer is a better field goal kicker, at least from a range standpoint, than Chiarella, and I believe Playbo has better better range on his punts than does Walden. If the Stars can play sound defense and combine that kicking and then hang in there till the fourth quarter, then anything can happen.
Right, Bud? Sitting to my right, the stalwart of Monday night NFL football, Howard Cosell.
Good to be back with you, Keith, and always good to be back with Bud as he tries to find minor areas where perhaps the collegians can excel. Keith has told you some of the principles of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but only some. In a word, they're an awesome football team with a magnificent offensive and defensive balance. He might have mentioned, for instance, the bevy of brilliant wide receivers, one of whom will be absent tonight because of a pulled hamstring, Lynn Swan. But look at the others. Frank Lewis, for instance, Ronnie Shanklin, and John Stallworth, the brilliant rookie of a year ago. The unsung offensive line, which clears them out for the ground game, and, of course, he's told you about the fearsome foursome of the Steelers. What about number 20, Rocky Bleier, who makes it go for Franco Harris? Franco wasn't having a good year last year till Rocky got in there. He clears them out for Franco. And suddenly, in the postseason games, in the Super Bowl game, Bleier himself sprung to life as a runner, averaging about 85 yards per game against Buffalo, Oakland, and then the Vikes. This is a super football team. That's why they won the Super Bowl. They should be able to win about as they please. Now let's go back to Keith Jackson for the pregame introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the defensive team for the NFL champion Pittsburgh Steelers. At left end, number 68, L.C. Greenwood. At left tackle, number 75, Mean Joe Green. At right tackle, number 63, Ernie Holmes. At right hand, number 78, Dwight White. The left linebacker, number 59, Jack Ham. The middle linebacker, number 58, Jack Lambert. The right linebacker, number 34, Andy Russell. The left cornerback, number 24, J.T. Thomas. The right cornerback, number 47, Mel Blunt. At safety, number 23, Mike Wagner. And the free safety, number 27, Glenn Edwards. And the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Chuck Noll. And now, introducing the offensive team for the College All-Stars. At wide receiver, number 84 from Harvard, drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, Pat McInally. At left tackle, number 71 from Miami, drafted by the Los Angeles Rams, Dennis Harrah. Left guard, number 68 from North Carolina, drafted by the Baltimore Colts, Ken Huff. At center, number 50 from Oklahoma, drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, Kyle Davis. Right guard, number 65 from South Dakota State, drafted by the Detroit Lions, Lynn Bodine. The right tackle, number 72 from Ohio State, drafted by the New Orleans Saints, Kurt Schumacher. The tight end, number 81 from Oregon, drafted by the New England Patriots, Russ Francis. At wide receiver, number 46 from Kansas, drafted by the Houston Oilers, Emmett Edwards. At quarterback, number 10 from California, drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, Steve Bartkowski. At running back, number 34 from Jackson State, drafted by the Chicago Bears, Walter Payton. And at running back, number 23 from Arkansas State, drafted by the Miami Dolphins, Stan Winfrey. And the head coach of the College All-Stars, John McKay of the University of Southern California. The pros have won it 29 times. The collegians have won 9. There have been 2 ties. We'll see what happens tonight here in Chicago.
Look, new Manpower antiperspirant. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Compare it yourself. Manpower has more power to help keep you dry than the sprays that most men use. And it's a powerful deodorant with a long-lasting masculine scent. Manpower has enough going for it that the people who make it will give you your money back if you're not satisfied. Just send the cap to Manpower. New Manpower spray and unique stick, both guaranteed. Fair enough?
This is the tire we ran on top roads around the world. And here's the next step in steel-belted radials from Sears. Road Handler. With wider radial design than the tire that tamed the mountains of Morocco. Road Handler. With more steel guts than the tire that beat the Baja. Road Handler. With better wet cornering traction than the tire that ran East Africa. Wider radial design. More steel. Road Handler. Only at Sears.
It's not just athletes that get athlete's foot. Innocent men, women, and children can get it too, just by coming in contact with it. And man, does it itch. Well, the first itch you feel, you spray on MP27. MP27 will kill that athlete's foot fungus and help keep it from coming back. Believe me, I've seen a whole lot of scratching going on. MP27 is the end of the itch.
Number 22, Dick Kahn, and number 40. We're ready to go with the 42nd College All-Star Football game with Mel Blount and Dick Kahn, numbers 47 and 22, respectively, deep for the white-shirted Pittsburgh Steelers, the National Football League champions of 1974. And kicking off for the blue-shirted College All-Stars will be Steve Mickemeyer of the University of Maryland. He was drafted in the 3rd round by the San Francisco 49ers. And yes, he is the brother to the other young man who is now active in the National Football League, playing with the Atlanta Falcons. The wind is blowing at the back of the kicker, about 10 miles an hour. We had an horrendous thunderstorm just before the game started, but it's relatively dry. It is a very high kick, and it goes to Mel Blount. He takes it, and he slips at the 1-yard line. The convergence is good. They nail him hard at about the 14, 15-yard line, and he took a solid pop from John Tate, number 47, and we look at the offensive line for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It'll be Kolb, 55, Clack, 50, Ray Mansfield, 56, Jerry Mullins, 72, Gordon Gravel, 71, and Larry Brown, 87 at the tight end position. In the starting backfield for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you will have the young man from Grand Cane, Louisiana, number 12, Terry Bradshaw. As he brings them up with Rocky Bleier and Franco Harris, and coming wide to the right side. It is Shanklin. Frank Lewis is split to the left side. First offensive play, and the ball is handed off to Franco Harris. Dances over the right side and gets out to about the 20, maybe the 21-yard line. He picked up about 5 as Robert Brazil, number 80, made the tackle, playing defensive right end for the Collegians. The defensive unit, Mike Fanning of Notre Dame, Mike Hartenstein of Penn State, Randy White of Maryland, and Robert Brazil of Jackson State along the front will define the Collegians as to their professional futures in a moment. But right now it's second down at about 5 yards to go for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Same alignment. Hand off to Rocky Bleier, gets up across the 22, and that's it. As the middle of the line, Hartenstein and Randy White, particularly Hartenstein, number 79, made a good play on him. Isolation look at Mr. Hartenstein. Here's Mr. Bud Wilkinson.
Penn State player drafted by the Bears, playing over the center as a nose guard. He's got tremendous speed. Mansfield has been a pro for 12 years. It's going to be a question of Hartenstein's speed against the aging, and it'll be a good battle all night.
Aging, eh? All right, Bud. Every year they write Ray Mansfield off, and every year he gets better. He's like old wine. The Vikings found that out.
Double tight ends, Randy Grossman, 84, in for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Backs a split, All-Stars almost jumped and apparently did encroach. Looked like Mike Fanning, number 90, was the man who made the encroachment, if in fact he did.
Fanning is one of the most highly rated by the pro scouts of the All-Stars here, drafted, of course, by the Los Angeles Rams. Number 90.
Linebackers for the College All-Stars, Glenn Cameron and Ralph Ortega of Florida, Richard Wood of Southern California. Quick, tough threesome in that secondary. Marvin Cobb, Lewis Wright, Charles Phillips, and Neil Colsey. And it's now a first down on the enforcement call of 5 yards. The ball advanced to the 27. Bradshaw jumps it out to the right side to number 25, Shanklin. And Ron Shanklin out of North Texas State, drafted in the second round back in 1970. Moves it up along the sideline, short of the first down, called the yardage at about the 33.
You'll remember, Keith, that Shanklin and Bradshaw from the very beginning have worked brilliantly together. You were with us then, and in our very first exhibition game, or preseason game against the Giants, Bradshaw threw deep to Shanklin. First score they ever made, the two of them, and they've been together most efficiently ever since.
Second down, call it 4 yards to go for the Pittsburgh Steelers from their own 33-yard line. Bradshaw never got a hold of the football. Terry Bradshaw never got a hold of the football. Somewhere along the way, he missed the snap from Ray Mansfield, a procedure call going against the Pittsburgh Steelers as Mansfield covered it.
We've got a little bit different defense from the All-Stars. Instead of 4 down linemen, they're playing with Fanning of Notre Dame, Hartenstein, and White as down linemen, and Brazil, who's listed as an end, is actually playing linebacker. So they've got 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, 4 men in the deep secondary.
The football is put back at the 28-yard line, where it is second down and 9 yards to go now as Bradshaw brings them up. Frank Lewis, no place to go. Good coverage by the All-Stars. There's a loss on the play. Randy White, 94, was the man who combined with Neil Colsey out of Ohio State, number 20.
But the man who really, I think, figured in that play was number 60 out of the University of Southern California, linebacker on the weak side, Richard Wood, who's been drafted by the Jets. And that's the place to play him because he's a light one, a great athlete. I think you'll agree on the weak side he can stay with any wide receiver. He's got the speed, and they want to keep him away from the big ones on the run. There he is, Richard Wood.
Call it third down and 10. Bradshaw steps back to throw. He delivers it over the middle, and it's almost intercepted by Ralph Ortega of Florida. That'll gladden the hearts of Coach Campbell and his colleagues in Atlanta. Quick move by that youngster.
Yes, the Falcons are trying to rebuild their linebacking situation. In fact, at this very moment, Keith, Pat Pepler, Director of Player Personnel for the Falcons, is in meetings with Ted Hendricks, his lawyer, his agent, the whole bevy of them. They've been in meetings all day, and it's anticipated that Hendricks will be signed by the Falcons at any time.
I hope they can afford it.
They spent a lot for Bartkowski. Bobby Walden back to punt for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 24, Virgil Livers, and 49, Charles Phillips. Now it is Livers all alone as the Steelers go for the first punt of the night. The kick is away. It is a good one, and Livers out of Western Kentucky starts at the 28. Penalty flag down. Another penalty flag down. Laundry all over the field as Livers comes back to about the 39. 45-yard punt, 12-yard return, and we'll see what the penalty is.
Very, very little doubt.
So it's a matter of which clip you want to call. Obviously, you would choose the first one. The first one I saw, I think, was Charles Phillips.
Rather bad break for the Stars. They had excellent field position, and they feel that if their defense can hold up, they would like to make Bradshaw throw the ball. That sounds rather strange, but Johnny McKay was telling me this afternoon if they stop their running, force them to throw, leave their secondary, and linebackers can cover.
Now we'll get our first look at the number 1 draft pick, Steve Bartkowski of the University of Southern California. He's 6'4", 213 pounds, and the Atlanta Falcons have paid some sum for him between $400,000 and $800,000. As time allows, we'll try to define that clipping penalty for you as the All-Stars come out of the huddle there. He's getting good pressure, Walden. He has got his kick away clean. It was a very good one. And
almost roughing.
Almost. Now we come back to the live action. And here's the first offensive play for the College All-Stars. It goes to Payton.
Walter Payton, number 34, and he gets very little yardage as he tries to move from about the 21. Run down quickly the offensive line. Dennis Hara, number 71. Ken Huff, 68. Kyle Davis, 50. Lynn Bodine, 65. Kurt Schumacher, 72. And Russ Francis, number 81. The backfield for the College All-Stars at quarterback we've defined for you. Wide receivers are Emmett Edwards. The running backs are Walter Payton and Stan Winfrey. Jim O'Bradovich is the tight end, and Russ has come in a double tight end situation now. We've got two of them in there. And Bartkowski will put it up. On second down and 12, it is away. He's got a man. The pass is caught by Larry Burton, who has come in at the wide receiver position. It was Burton who came in and made the catch all the way at the Pittsburgh 32-yard line, 56 yards on the play.
Fastest man on the field from Purdue, drafted by the Saints. He was wide open. Bartkowski has not been able to really believe how fast Burton can run. Let's take a look at it again. He lets it go big, but Burton had speed enough and had to wait for it slightly, or it might have been all the way. Excellent throw, but he had to hold up that extra step. But that streak pattern by Burton is going to give him trouble all night. And
remember this, it is a different size football than Bartkowski is used to throwing. The professional model is a little bit fatter, a little wider in the girth by about 3/4 of an inch. Here's the pitch wide to Payton. He'll play with the Chicago Bears. He goes from the 32 to the 31. The ball rolls around on the ground, but retention by the All-Stars.
Gave them yardage on that ball rolling around on the ground, as you put it, Keith. Walter Payton, to many who have scouted him, is a kind of replica of Gale Sayers, which is really saying something, the same style of running. Got a curious injury during the 30-day training period, as you recollect, Bud. Suddenly slipped on the artificial turf, and the right arm became so puffed up they were frightened. They didn't know what could possibly have happened. Actually, it reduced by 4 inches in 24 hours, which gives you some idea of the swelling.
McAnally, 84 from Harvard. 6'6" is in at the wide receiver position left side as Bartkowski has time, runs it. He's got McAnally wide open! Touchdown! Penalty flag is on the field. Penalty flag on the field. It could possibly nullify a 28-yard touchdown pass run play. Hang on. It's against Pittsburgh. The All-Stars lead.
Pittsburgh offside on the play. Beautiful pass protection. There's McAnally. It's just simply a crossing pattern. You can see the defensive secondary. Thomas coming across. Wagner coming across, getting against the grain motion, and when Bartkowski hit him full speed, he was able to take it into the end zone.
And McAnally is carried from the field by 2 of his teammates. Mickey Meyer is in for the extra point try. The hold is clean. The kick is sharp. 79 yards, 4 plays, 2 minutes, 24 seconds of possession, and the College All-Stars have jumped into the lead by a score of 7-0 on a hot, muggy night in Chicago.
The best way for a marine biologist to learn about the great white shark isn't from books. He's got to go down and take a look for himself. The best way to learn about quality in beer is to taste it for yourself. Take the Pabst Challenge. Taste and compare the quality and flavor of Pabst Blue Ribbon with any other premium beer. See why in Milwaukee, beer capital of the world, it's #1. Pabst. Since 1844, the quality has always come through.
The football game is being played under National Football League rules. There was a defensive holding call against the Pittsburgh Steelers, a 10-yard penalty. Thus, the College All-Stars will kick off from midfield. Mickemeyer, #1. Steve Mickemeyer will kick it off. The deep men for the Steelers are Preston Pearson, Dick Kahn, and Dickie Morton. Short, down bouncing around. Little Alphonse Gaston is finally picked up by Dickie Morton. And the 180-pounder from Arkansas didn't have any place to go by the time he took a hold of the handle, as the All-Stars covered very well. And Pittsburgh will have the ball, first down, on a wet field at the 14, with Dave Wasick, 88, Mike Washington, 27, making the tackle.
Dave Wasick's a tough little one from San Jose State. They don't think he's big enough to really play, but I think the Chiefs are going to be pleasantly surprised by him.
First down, Pittsburgh, 14. Flyer and Franco Harris, the setbacks behind Bradshaw. And it's Franco, the Super Bowl MVP, gets a yard, maybe two, as Mike Hartenstein, 79, and Mike Fanning, number 90, makes a stop.
Little counter-play action there, hoping that Hartenstein would go with the first fake, but he stood Mansfield off very, very well and made the play.
Franklin to the right, Lewis to the left, split backs, Harris and Flyer. Flyer, Rocky Flyer, one of the great stories in athletics, is dropped at the 15-yard line.
And once again, number 60, Richard Wood, was in there up in that play. I'm afraid, Bud, that McAnally may have pulled a hamstring as he stretched to lean into the end zone after his pass reception and subsequent run.
It looks as though he was shaken up. I hope certainly not badly enough that he won't be back. Neil Colsey from Ohio State, signed by the Oakland Raiders, also made a great defensive play on the last one. So far, they have not run at Randy White. If you notice, Randy White's lined up about a yard off the line of scrimmage, which is some tribute to his speed and reaction. He's number 94.
Terry Bradshaw, just a few ounces over 200 pounds. Very light boy. On third down and 10, he'll throw. The pressure's on. He's got nobody to throw to. He'll put it away and try to run, and he's got no place to go. And the All-Stars get him. Fanning and Hartenstein makes the tackle.
I'll tell you, Bud, that was a great play by Hartenstein, who's gotten bigger and stronger since he left Penn State and Joe Paterno. It was Hartenstein who showed the lateral movement. Let's watch it now.
He was our ABC Defensive Player of the Year last year. You can see him forcing his way in, reading, and now watch him come off as he pivots around to the outside, moves, and then Bradshaw tries to cut back, but his balance is simply too good.
Bradshaw thought he had an opening, and Bradshaw, as you all know, can run. But Hartenstein showed great lateral speed.
Virgil Livers, 24 deep. Bobby Walden, the punt. He hits it at the 4-yard line. He's got a good kick. Livers will bring it back. Back to the 47-yard line. 46-yard punt, 6-yard return. And the score, the College All-Stars 7, the Pittsburgh Steelers nothing.
I remember the day my father started saving for my college education. It was my 10th birthday, and he opened a savings account for $10. Brian, he said, you're going to have it better than me. You're not going to have to stand on your feet all day just to make a buck. You do the studying, and I'll do the saving. He had it all planned. There's only one thing he didn't plan. He didn't plan on dying.
Sometimes the saddest thing about a man's death is to watch his dreams die with him. We at Money Mutual of New York understand how reluctant some people can be to discuss life insurance. But if you have children, you should talk to a Money representative about insuring their future. Because as painful as it might be for your family to go on without you, it would be even more painful for them to go on without anything. Mutual of New York. Money for the future.
That picture is a stretcher carrying Pat McAnally, 6'6", 210-pounder from Harvard, drafted in the 5th round by the Cincinnati Bengals, injured on the touchdown play. We understand it's a knee. We'll check it as best we can. McAnally injured on the touchdown. That is most unfortunate. College All-Stars have the football. First down. Their own 47-yard line, leading 7-0. 7:37 to go first quarter. The handoff is inside. Stan Winfrey, number 23, 223-pounder out of Arkansas State, headed for the Miami Dolphins. Runs it right up the middle, crosses midfield. He gets the better part of 4 yards.
You ought to hear Bobby Beathard, Director of Player Personnel for the Dolphins, talk about Winfrey. He thinks he's one of the great sleepers in this year's draft, and when Beathard talks to you, you'll listen. Because his record of sleepers, witness Nat Moore and Melvin Baker, the wide receivers of a year ago, is documented.
Keith Dimmerly is in the lineup. Obradovich goes wide to the right side for the All-Stars. Bartkowski calls signals and sets the throw on 2nd and 6. Dumping to Payton. Payton goes one-on-one, slips and falls down just over the line of scrimmage.
Watching McInally carted off the field as he was presents in its own way one of the raps against this game. The pro people naturally don't like the idea of losing a draftee by way of injury. We had an earlier such instance here during the training period. Greg Reese, center, Washington State, got a knee surgery, and he's out for the season. He was drafted by the Rams, number 3.
In training camp, though, too, Howard, and in the exhibition season. They play quite a number of exhibition games.
3rd down and 5. From the 48-yard line, Bartkowski goes. He's 4 for 4 as he hits Russ Francis. This big kid can run. Penalty. Called against the All-Stars. Winfrey, number 23, downfield. Gain on the play, 36 yards. Glenn Edwards made the stop.
One of those blocks that we call an ecstasy block, Keith. They're so happy to make that big gain that the block isn't going to help the play. It's 15 yards behind it, but penalty called anyway.
Well, you saw who that pass was thrown against the blitz, by the way, and you saw who caught that football.
You betcha. That's Russ Francis.
Number 81.
Player.
By common consensus, let me tell you, Bud and Keith will bear this out. It is the view of every professional. There you saw the penalty call. Let's look at it again. You'll see the blitz.
And you can see the safety man coming. Beautiful, beautiful read by Bartkowski.
Now, as I was saying, looking at Russ Francis, by common consensus among all the pro scouts here, Russ Francis is the outstanding collegian on the All-Star squad. Tight end, number 1 draft choice, New England Patriots.
6'6", 245 out of Oregon. Didn't play last year, wrestled instead. Bartkowski gives to Payton. And Payton gets away from Mike Wagner, but by that time, enough people are there to stop him. All right, let's have another look at that safety blitz and the way Bartkowski and Francis teamed up to handle it.
If you watch on the left side of your screen, the linebacker, Lambert, is shooting, and here comes the safety man. Right straight through clean, but an excellent block that time by Winfrey. Gave Bartkowski time to throw, and you could see him get rid of that ball while he was moving back, and he still clotheslined it. And this is the man Howard was talking about, Russ Francis, bringing joy to the hopes of the New England Patriots. Chuck Fairbanks, his group.
We have changes for the All-Stars. Lewis Carter, number 32, out of Maryland, is in. At a running back position, he's headed for the Oakland Raiders. Emmett Edwards is in motion. Ball is handed off to Carter. And Carter going no place. Penalty flag again on the field. Ernie Holmes, their principal on the tackle for the Steelers.
Ernie Holmes, number 63. He has the arrow haircut. You remember him from a year ago, selected by my colleague, the Gipper, as the outstanding defensive player in the league last year. His improvement was tremendous. He had gone to a clean-shaved head earlier, Bud, but has now returned to the arrow cut, as you can see there. Reason? Well, he's commercially minded, too, and he's got a T-shirt line with an arrow across the front. So he had to go back to it. He can no longer look like Otis Sistrunk, as Alex Karras put it, University of Mars.
I just got a message from the president of the University of California that Bartkowski is from the Golden Bears, not USC, but of course I never said he was from USC. I said all along he was from California. So calm yourself, Mr. President. Will the front four come? Let's see. Bartkowski has plenty of time, and Russ Francis has the ball in his hands and doesn't hang on. Beautiful pass by Bartkowski.
Frank, we've just gotten a report. Let's look at this again before I tell you about McInally of Harvard.
Number 81, Francis, the tight end, downfield, doing a corner cut post pattern. The ball hits him right on the numbers, but he failed to look it in. Should have been a completion. That's 4 out of 5 for Bartkowski. Could have been 5 for 5.
Yeah, and they were saying during the training period that Bartkowski didn't look good at all. Look at him in game action tonight.
When they ring the bell, sometimes strange things happen.
At big 71 is Dennis Harrah coming up to the line of scrimmage. Offensive left tackle. It's 3rd down and very long. Got to go to the 19 for the first down. From the 43, the handoff is to Lewis Carter. And Marvin gets down to the 45, and that's it. Coming across, Jack Ham and J.T. Thomas, numbers 59 and 24. So the All-Stars will punt.
Tough enough to go against that defense when it's normal down in yardage, but you give them that third and about 24, and it's almost impossible.
I'll tell you that Francis, when he catches the football, is not easy to bring down. Keith has already told you of his huge size, and the pro scouts think he can be as good or better than even Charlie Young, out of USC, by the way, Keith, with the Eagles, of course.
Here's the punt by Neil Clayball. It goes to number 85. That is Bob Gaddis of Pittsburgh. And that is pretty fair country coverage on the punt. 36 yards on the kick and 5-yard return.
And under pro rules, only the two wide men can release when the ball is snapped. The others must wait until the ball is kicked. So you do have some speed by those all-star linemen covering.
So far, you're feeling pretty good, Bud.
Well, it's a little matter of time, but no question about the enthusiasm. And that game plan that we talked about, is really working. This is the third time Pittsburgh's had the ball. First time on their 15, then their 14, and this time they're 13. So they're playing good field position football, the All-Stars.
The only first down they've gotten was on a penalty. Keith?
Bradshaw sets. Same wide receivers. Rocky Flyer with Franco Harris, and it's Flyer out to the 15, maybe the 16-yard line, and Otha Bradley, number 75 of Southern California, in the lineup. A 10th-round pick headed for the San Diego Chargers makes the stop.
How Coach McKay likes to play his own men, Glad.
Not a bad idea when they won the Rose Bowl for you and the Coast Conference Championship, and they know the system.
That defensive secondary is 18, Lewis Wright out of San Jose State, Marvin Cobb, USC, Charlie Phillips, USC, Neil Colsey, Ohio State is number 20 for the All-Stars. It is second down and 7 yards to go for the Pittsburgh Steelers. From the 16-yard line, it's Franco Harris wiggling over the left side. The big back from Penn State gets it out to the 21, close to the 22. Short by about a yard on the first down try, and it's Neil Colsey, number 20, at the bottom of the stack.
That's the difference between having a great team and one that's just what I would call somewhat ordinary. A great back like Harris makes 5 yards when he should make nothing, and the ordinary back makes nothing.
You're right. But Keith has seen Franco Harris lose at the tug of war. That's his weakness.
He sure picked up a lot of walking around money down in Rotunda and in Hawaii.
That's got him moving backwards, though, and he's used to going forward.
Third down, 1.5 yards for the first down. It figures they go to Franco, the big man. He shakes one tackler, gets his first down. There's the quickness I talked about. He is one of those big backs that has great movement, and he's got a first down. He shook off a blue shirt, Brazil, who had him behind the line of scrimmage.
And then suckered out 43, Glenn Cameron, linebacker from Florida, number 1 draft choice, Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are trying to shore up their linebacking department since they elected to dispose of the brilliant player Bill Bergey after he had jumped to the World Football League, then come back. He was traded, of course, to the Eagles.
Mac Mitchell, number 83, is in the lineup now for the All-Stars. Jimmy Webb, number 70, out of Mississippi State, on the left side. And it's Franco Harris taking it up the middle. Actually took a stutter step that time to let his blocking form in front of him, was patient enough, and then exercised his power.
And on the last 3 snaps, the Pittsburgh offensive line has begun to blow the all-star linemen back off the line of scrimmage. On the first couple of possessions, they really were not functioning together as a unit too well.
You have new people in there. Jimmy Webb, Otha Bradley, Mac Mitchell in the down position. As Hartenstein being rested along with White and Fanning. They're giving away a little bit of weight. It's Rocky Flyer on second down and 3, and he's got the first down for the Steelers out near the 38-yard line.
They may be getting irked, these Steelers, trailing as they do to a group of college kids, 7-0, with just a minute 17 and counting down left in this, the first quarter.
The college All-Stars with a 7-0 lead. And having moved the football with the forward pass being the primary weapon, and it was McAnally taking it over the goal line for the college All-Stars, injured on the play, has left the stadium.
We have a report. I don't know if we gave it earlier, Keith, on McAnally. We'll get to it after this play is run.
All right, we have back in the lineup now Mike Fanning, Mike Hartenstein, and Randy White. Hartenstein and Randy White. much time against the Steelers.
All right, the report on McAnally. The damage to the left ankle, badly swollen. Rushed to the hospital for x-rays. The hope is, and this goes for you, Paul Brown, and your Cincinnati club, that he will be all right. He was to many, out of Harvard, you're looking at him there, a surprising draft choice, though taken on a later round, the 5th, because the feeling was he lacked a sufficiency of speed, but I've heard that dribble before around the league. People like Howard Twilley and formerly George Sauer disprove the need for speed.
Franco Harris out. Frenchie Fuqua, number 33, in the backfield. Fake to him. Terry Bradshaw. Ball knocked loose. Steelers cover it. It was number 60, Richard Wood, that stripped the ball from him.
Oh, boy, I've got to question that choice a little bit. I don't know how you can have the ball down when it's still bouncing.
You know, they're working on Franco Harris's left shoulder. You see him there with the Pittsburgh Steelers trainer.
A loss of 13 yards on the play as the football is moved back now to the 25-yard line. 4, 3, 2, and we're coming up to the end of the first quarter. And it's arrived. So after 1 quarter of play in the 42nd College All-Star game in Chicago, the All-Stars lead the Pittsburgh Steelers by a score of 7-0.
This man has worked a long, hard day, and he's got a lot of money to show for it. Other people's money. He's a pickpocket. His take, $700. It's dangerous to carry cash. Carry American Express traveler's checks. If they're lost or stolen, you can get them back. Your vacation is protected. American Express traveler's checks. Don't leave home without them.
It's like shaving with no blades at all. Like shaving with no blades at all. Only Schick Super 2 twin blade cartridge has Teflon. Like shaving with no blades at all.
Any twin blade shaves close, but only Schick Super 2 has an exclusive Teflon coating that makes closeness so comfortable.
It's like shaving with no blades at all.
Even fits track 2 handles. Schick Super 2 with Teflon. Like shaving with no blades at all.
This touchdown came against Buffalo in last year's playoffs while we were on our way to the Super Bowl championship. This is the hat that I wore that day, and this is the hat that I wore a few weeks later. Members of the NFL USO Tour wear it each year on a goodwill trip to hospitals and other installations in the Far East. Each year, USO Tours bring great moments to a lot of great guys halfway around the world, and you help make it possible when you support the United Way. Thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
All right, you see the score, 7-0. The college folks have the lead over the National Football League champions. This college all-star game and the Chicago Golden Gloves boxing tournament are sports activities of the Chicago Tribune Charities Incorporated. Money from this event for needy persons in the community. In 1974, donations made to more than 100 organizations in excess of $200,000. And now here come the Pittsburgh Steelers with the football. Just outside the 25-yard line, they've got to go to near the 39 for the first down. Bradshaw has all day to look. Hartenstein puts the heat on, goes to the sidelines. The catch is complete to Shanklin. Ron Shanklin, waiting on the sideline, picks up 16 yards.
2 quick reports. First, Franco Harris's bruised shoulder, Keith and Bud. He may not play for the rest of the game. The shoulder is bruised, but that's debatable. He may go back in there if Chuck wants to win this game badly enough. Let's look at this play again. Once again, Bradshaw to Ron Shanklin.
And when you give a quarterback like Bradshaw this much time, 3-man rush by the Stars, Bradshaw rolling out, and Shanklin finding lots of daylight between the deep coverage and the linebackers.
And the other report, gentlemen, not a happy one. McAnally, a fractured shin just above the left ankle.
That's a lot better than bad knee problem, though, Howard, as tragic as it is.
Bradshaw on 3rd down and 8. Back to throw. Gets it off. Screens it up to Flyer. Flyer runs out of a tackle. Goes to the sidelines and very close to the first down. Ortega, number 55, knocked him out for the College All-Stars.
Ortega, number 55 from Florida, drafted by the Falcons. Screen pass, well executed. And look at the boy's speed as he comes to the outside. Rocky Flyer breaking clean, but the middle linebacker, Ortega, making the tackle. and they're just short of the first down.
We had an interesting situation this year, gentlemen, in the drafting of linebackers. 2 from Florida, Glenn Cameron and Ortega, whom you just saw on that play, and 2 from Nebraska went to Buffalo, neither of whom is here tonight.
This is a little disdain for the defense in the opening portion of the second quarter, 4th and 1.
Franco Harris reflecting some pain as we come now on a gamble. 4th down and less than a yard. They punch it up the middle, and I think they've got it. They moved it right in behind the big guy called Ranger. Ray Mansfield, the center. Jerry Mullins and Jim Clack. First down. Tomorrow, over most of these ABC stations, the Football Hall of Fame game from Canton.
Yep, I'll be going over there early in the morning, Keith, to meet the Gipper and to meet Alex, and we'll be watching the Cincinnati Bengals against the Washington Redskins as we kick off the straight pro season. 4 inductees to be enshrined.
On first down, just short of midfield. Call it the 49-yard line for the sake of stats, and Bradshaw puts it up, goes to the sidelines, and it is incomplete, intended for Shanklin. And there was good coverage by Charles Phillips, number 49, for the All-Stars.
And we had a much better All-Star rush that time. He only had about 3.5 seconds to get the ball away.
Again, I say it's interesting to watch these teams draft. Look at the difference in those statistics. Steele is excelling in offensive plays, but the yards passing tells the story. Bartkowski is the story, together with the tight end, Russ Francis. They made the big play that led to the pass to McAnally for the lone touchdown of the contest thus far.
Wasik, 88, in at a linebacking position now for the College All-Stars. John Fuqua, Frenchie Fuqua, number 33, has the football. He's popped as he comes to midfield. Dives for 2, tackles Brazil, 80.
He missed that one, but I think that fired him up a little bit, and he came back strong.
Brazil of Jackson State, as Bud told you, in a not too often seen defensive alignment, is serving as a linebacker. He is a brilliant young rookie. Willie Davis, former Green Bay Packers star on the Stars coaching staff, says within 2 years he could be the best in the National Football League. Going to Houston.
3rd and 8, obvious passing down. Lewis left, Shanklin right, Bradshaw back to throw. Gets it down, pass is complete to the tight end, Larry Brown. And Larry Brown goes inside the 30 for an 18-yard gain and a first down.
And once again, Bob Brazil was right on the play, missed it by perhaps a yard, almost had the interception. Had he just made one more quick move to the outside, which experience will teach him to do.
It was a typical Pittsburgh move, though, Howard, because they sent that wide receiver down. He loitered, then along came the tight end to make the catch. Cornerback sitting out there with a safety, and I don't know which way to jump, and bang. Bradshaw, the way he can hum it, you got no chance.
His linebackers don't get to move more than a step or two when that ball gets fired.
Reggie Harrison, number 46, in the Pittsburgh lineup now at a setback position. As Bradshaw goes back to throw on first down from the 28-yard line. It's Rocky Blyer down at the 20, out of bounds at the 17, carried out by Lewis Wright of San Jose State.
And they're doing a super job now of reading the 2 outside linebackers, Wood and Bazile.
Oh, I'm sorry, Keith. As a former coach, Bud, we've gotten a final report now on McAnally of Harvard. Fractured fibula left leg, out for a minimum of 6 weeks. You've had experience with that kind of injury.
The thing that will slow him up the most will be reconditioning himself after that 6 weeks are over. But had he gotten a knee tip badly torn up, it's the season gone, and then you really never know.
First down, Pittsburgh. First serious threat by the Steelers. Ball at the College All-Star 12-yard line. Bradshaw gives to Blyer. He cuts it back against the defensive flow. Number 80 is there as he gets inside the 15 to about the 13. Richard Wood, Ralph Ortega, linebackers to stop.
Rocky's story was one of the heartwarming stories in American sports last year. As you well know, Keith, the veteran of Vietnam, it's been told many times. The only thing is, his exploits were real. You ought to hear Terry Hanratty, the second-string quarterback, describe those exploits in totally different terms. They're very much together and with a team, these Steelers.
I think the morale that he gave them helped tremendously in addition to his physical ability.
Second down, 7 from the 13-yard line for Pittsburgh. The All-Star 13. Bradshaw looks to throw. Wants to go left. Lobs it over the middle. The pass is caught. And Reggie Harrison, number 46, out of Cincinnati, a free agent signed in 1974, gets bogged down just inside the 5-yard line. That'll make it first down and goal to go for the Steelers.
And the Steeler blocking on their pass protection is something to behold. The All-Stars got to them in the first quarter relatively well, but in this drive, Bradshaw has had no pressure whatsoever. Need to bring some linebackers in, and if you do and you don't get there, you leave those spaces wide open between them.
First down, goal to go. The football is at the All-Star 4. Rocky Bleier, no more than 2 if he got that much.
Nobody ever considered Rocky as a running back. He was in there for his blocking, and as I said at the top of the program, Keith, it was he who got Franco Harris started last season because Franco was moving slowly in the early going of the season. But that kid really exploded as a running back, first in the initial playoff game against the Buffalo Bills, then against the Oakland Raiders, and finally against the Vikes. So he's solidified his regular position.
They need just a little more than 2 yards for the touchdown. All-Stars leading 7-0. Bradshaw throws, wide open, touchdown, Randy Grossman.
And they would say to Richard Wood, welcome to the National Football League. He took the fake and was beaten very easily to the outside. And here it comes again. You can see him breaking to the outside, and if you look on the right of the screen, there's number 60, Wood, who failed to read the key properly, looking in the backfield, took the fake.
It's what you call splendid isolation.
Bobby Walden, the punter, holds. Roy Girella will kick. 87 yards, 17 plays for the Steelers, and Girella side wheels it. Good. At 9:56 to go in the first half of play. The score now, the College All-Stars 7 and the Pittsburgh Steelers 7.
Death Valley, California. 120 degrees. We parked 5 cars, turned on the lights, and waited. 5 hours later, all the batteries are dead. All but one. A Sears Die-Hard. The Die-Hard, with extra power to start your car when most batteries won't. Sold only at Sears.
Road Handler, the next step in steel-belted radials from Sears, with wider radial design than the tire that tamed the mountains of Morocco. Road Handler, with more steel under a deeper tread than our tire that ran the granite roads of Greece. Road Handler, with better wet cornering traction than the tire that ran East Africa. Wider radial design. More steel. Road Handler, only at Sears.
The Pittsburgh Steelers scoring drive reflected there as they get ready to kick off to the College All-Stars. And now we come up to that time where, I don't know, maybe it's momentum gets into the ball game, huh?
Well, I think the All-Stars are certainly not awed by the Steelers. They had pretty good control of things in the first quarter, so I don't believe that they're going to surrender mentally, but the skill, the timing, all of those factors begin to have a little effect on you, and if they could put something together here to restore that confidence, it would certainly help them.
Girella will kick off to 24 Livers and 34 Payton. And we're even with 9:56 to go in the first half. Good high floating kick. Wind at his back carries it to the goal line. It's taken by Walter Payton. Good hold up the middle. For a moment it appeared he might split it and get out of there. He got it back to about the 27-yard line, and Reggie Garrett, number 86, brought him down. Now we see number 3 coming on the field, Fred Solomon. 6-footer, 181-pounder out of Tampa, drafted second round by the Miami Dolphins. First appearance, he will not be playing quarterback, however, his normal position at Tampa University. He comes in as a wide receiver. Steve Bartkowski of California is still the quarterback. He hands the ball on a beautiful fake, delivers to Russ Francis, and Francis makes the catch on the sidelines at the 40 for a first down.
And he didn't take his eye off that one, Howard.
No, he didn't. And Bartkowski has really been a pinpoint passer ever since this game started. Interestingly, he's 5 out of 6 for 133 yards. The Atlanta Falcons, desperate for quarterbacking, as once again you look at Steve, have the 3 quarterbacks who had the highest rating points by pro scouts the last 3 years. David James out of Kansas, Tim McQuillican out of Lehigh, and now Steve Bartkowski. So maybe they're going to get that position set.
Solomon leaves. Edwards, number 46, comes in. Here's the pitch to Payton. Bobbles it, keeps it. Corner there, he will not turn. As number 45, Jim Allen out of UCLA, knocked him down.
Bartkowski is 6'4", around 218 pounds. And, when you've got that kind of an arm and that kind of a frame, your potential is unlimited.
Bud, why don't you come with me to Canton tomorrow? 4 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll be bringing the folks the Hall of Fame game. The Bengals against the Redskins. The Redskins, supposedly the over-the-hill gang, somehow produce year in and year out. And everybody knows about a Paul Brown team anytime, any year.
Second down 9 from the 40 for the All-Stars. Bartkowski drops it off to Payton, get him one-on-one. He gets away from Lambert. Oh, look out. Now he loses his footing as he tries to cut back, and Wagner gets him. So he wound up with no gain.
That over-the-hill gang of the Redskins, Howard, Edward Bennett Williams told me that we got a lot of people, been a lot of places, and we gave George Allen an unlimited budget when he arrived, and he exceeded it
in 2 weeks. That's all right. The Redskins still have some exciting players. Charlie Taylor, one of the all-time great ones.
And Billy Kilmer, to me, is one of the all-time greats.
It'll be third down and 9 now for the College All-Stars from their 40-yard line. Steve Bartkowski to put it up. Wants to go deep. Goes to the sidelines. It is in the hands of J.P. Thomas. Then he drops it as he slithers across the sidelines, and the pass is incomplete. A punt coming up.
That's another element we both omitted at the top of the program, Keith. The unwavering excellence of that Pittsburgh secondary. Edwards, Wagner, J.T. Thomas, and Mel Blount. Look at the All-Stars and the school players' representation. McKay likes his own men.
Very natural, as we mentioned, that the others pointing out the best teams in the country, they have the stars.
It is Dick Kahn, number 22. Signed as a free agent out of Georgia. Goes down, fumbles the football. Is covered by Pittsburgh. Penalty flag down on the field. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. The referee is Bob Frederick. The umpire is Jerry Hart. The headlinesman, Jerry Berkman. The line judge is Dean Look. The back judge, Don Wedge. And the field judge is Bob Wertman.
Good play there by number 18, Louis Wright, defensive back, top draft choice of the Denver Broncos. And somehow Denver continues to be one of the most overlooked teams in the National Football League, and they're one of the more solid teams with real playoff possibilities.
They play with tremendous enthusiasm, and they've got the balance between running and passing.
They also have a pretty fair salesman as a coach.
John Ralston. He's the one who fires them up.
Long consultation between the officials. Terry Bradshaw is out there. Number 80 is Brazil of the All-Stars, and number 60 is Richard Wood, and they're listening. I had lunch today with Bob Frederick and his staff, and they indicated to us they would be most deliberate in making decisions because the College All-Stars are not all that aware of National Football League rules. The indication is clipping.
Which is the penalty you always expect to see when a flag goes down on a punt return.
Gentlemen, as we watch the Steelers go back into action, you talked about momentum before. Let's see what they can do. They scored their lone touchdown thus far strictly on the use of the pass, with Franco Harris sidelined with the bruised shoulder. We'll see when we come back in just a moment what they do.
Our score, 7-7.
This is an antiperspirant spray called Sure. It's different. Really. Most antiperspirant sprays go on wet and oily compared to Sure, which goes on dry. And Sure keeps you dry. Prove it under your own two arms. Try Sure on your left side, and the spray you like best on your right side. If you're like most people, your left side will convince your right side. You'll be drier. We're sure.
How'd you like a truckload of Pabst Blue Ribbon for the good old summertime? Our 12-pack is like a truckload. A dozen 12-ounce cans of Pabst Premium quality beer in a handy pack that dispenses one can at a time. We challenge you to taste and compare Blue Ribbon's flavor and quality with any beer. You'll agree, it's the best-tasting beer money can buy. Pabst. Since 1844, the quality has always come through. Look for the Pabst Good Old Summertime display at your favorite store.
7 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the first half, and we're even at 7. The Pittsburgh Steelers have the ball just short of their own 13-yard line after a clipping call went against them on the punt return. And now they come up with Frenchie Fuqua and Preston Pearson as the running backs. Now they split. And Bradshaw gives to Fuqua. Runs it up the middle, close to the 15-yard line. Jimmy Webb diving into the middle along with Mac Mitchell, 83, and Drew Mahalik, 45.
The last time the Steelers had the ball, they kept it for 9 minutes and 24 seconds before scoring their touchdown. The All-Stars determined to snuff them off here and keep them from grinding out the clock.
Let's call it a 2-yard pickup and make it second down and 8 yards to go, just outside the 14 for the Steelers. John Stallworth, number 82, wide left. Bradshaw gives it to Stallworth, coming around from his end position, and the All-Stars have got him. Number 54, Terry McLaury, out of Michigan State, headed for the New York Giants, made the play, a loss of 8 yards.
He's got some quickness. He adjusted awfully well. That field is wet, but his balance was superior.
He's exactly what the Giants can use. They need lineback help, if ever a team did.
They need some other help, too.
I don't want to pass over the weather so lightly, because at 6:30 tonight, we had one of the doggonedest old-fashioned Midwestern thunderstorms you've ever seen. Dumped all the water that you could imagine onto this field, but they scrubbed it off, and it's not too bad. It is third down. And almost 20 to go as Bradshaw throws out of his end zone, and it's incomplete. It is short, intended for John Stallworth. And it's fourth down, and the Steelers will kick it away. The All-Stars are almost sure, if they handle the ball deftly, to have good field position with 6:22 to play in the first half.
Keith, it's clear that the Steelers tremendously miss Franco Harris. You know, Steve Davis, in the opinion of many, a really brilliant back, got involved with deep personal problems and has prematurely retired from football, and the Steelers may miss him. The backup backs, though, are very good, Preston Pearson and Frenchie Fuqua.
All right, Bobby Walden now with a little pressure has a light wind at his back, about 8 to 10 miles an hour, kicking to Virgil Livers out of his end zone.
Big rush on.
Livers is back there all by himself. There isn't anybody in the county with him. It's a low line drive punt, takes a Pittsburgh bounce. He fields it, and here come the white shirts. And considering all things, he got away lucky because he'll walk away. 46-yard punt, 3-yard return, 6:11 to play, and we're still even at 7.
When you run a summer sports camp, you're bound to see a lot of athletes' foot. One of my counselors has it now. I'll tell you what I recommend. Absorbine Jr. Absorbine Jr. with its control flow applicator gets right to the itch in seconds. Helps heal athlete's foot because it kills fungus on contact.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
I can feel it working.
Right. Absorbine Jr. really works. Kills fungus on contact, stops itch in seconds. Try some.
If you drive, nobody has to tell you the price of gasoline is not what it used to be. So for your benefit, there's STP gas treatment. If you have a dirty carburetor, STP can help restore the precious mileage you're probably losing. Because STP gas treatment helps clean gas-eating dirty carburetors and helps keep them clean. Play it's safe. Put STP gas treatment in every tank full. The way prices have climbed, you can't afford a dirty carburetor.
The College All-Star Game is sponsored annually by Chicago Tribune Charities Incorporated. Since its foundation in 1928, Chicago Tribune Charities has donated more than $13 million to the needy in the Chicago metropolitan area. And right now, the College All-Stars will come up with a first down at the Pittsburgh Steelers 49-yard line. Number 38, Harold Henson, Ohio State, headed for the Minnesota Vikings, is in the lineup along with Lewis Carter out of Maryland, headed for Oakland. The quarterback is still Bartkowski, and it's Edwards coming in motion. Steve Bartkowski gives to Carter through the option pass at Maryland, gets it up, thrown downfield, and it's intercepted by Glenn Edwards, number 27. Penalty flag. Returned 21 yards after the interception. The pass was underthrown, and here's something to remember about National Football League rules. Now, you college fans, I'm sure you saw the intended receiver, Edwards, going downfield, and he took a pump deep in the secondary. But everybody in that defensive secondary is entitled to one bump under NFL rules. One bump only. You can hammer him all day as long as he stays inside that 3-yard zone, but once he gets beyond that, each man in the defensive secondary can bump him one time, and Mr. Edwards exercised it, simply took the ball away.
And that bumping around keeps them from going where they want to go.
That's right.
Carter hit 8 of 11 passes on that running pass for Maryland last year, 6 of them for touchdowns. However, on this one, they were looking for it, and they did make the interception very well.
7-7, 5:57 to go, first down.
George and I fell in love with this place on a day just like this one. The cabin was run down and the roof leaked, but that didn't matter. And even though we couldn't put much money into it, we put in a lot of hard work. George fixed the roof, and I snooped around the auctions looking for furniture to refinish. We only came up on weekends, but to us it was home. I never thought we'd give it up. But then I never thought George would die.
When a man dies, one of the saddest things his family has to face is what they'll lose after they've lost him. We at Money, Mutual of New York, know how reluctant some people can be to discuss life insurance. But we also know how much it can mean when it's needed. Call us, because your family can't live on memories alone. Mutual of New York, Money for the future.
Capping the scoring very quickly. McAnally, a 28-yard pass from Bartkowski. The kick was good. All-Stars led first quarter 7-0. Steelers came back. Grossman taking the 2-yard pass from Bradshaw. Jarrella's kick good, 7-7. Now the Steelers go to work. First down. The football is at about the 13-yard line. And Terry Bradshaw back to throw. He delivers it to Frenchy Fuqua. Fuqua gets away from Drew Mahalik. But McClary runs him out of bounds, and he's close to his first down. I believe he has a first down.
And Keith, just to embellish your recap for late tuners in, there have been 2 injuries thus far. One serious, fractured fibula left leg to Pat McAnally as he scored the touchdown for the College All-Stars. He'll be out a minimum of 6 weeks. Out of Harvard, he goes to the Cincinnati Bengals. Bruised left shoulder, Franco Harris, number 32, sidelined quite possibly for the rest of the game. Thus, Bradshaw concentrating on the pass.
First down, 10, Steelers, 25-yard line. Bradshaw back, throws it short. Fuqua again. Brought down, hit first by 76, Cornelius Walker. 248-pounder out of Rice. Terry McClary helping. Jimmy Webb, 70 is in there. Mac Mitchell, 83 is in. Brazil, 80 is in. Richard Wood in at a linebacking position along with McClary. The secondary is Marvin Cobb, Lewis Wright, Tony Peters out of Oklahoma headed for the Cleveland Browns, and Mike Washington of Alabama headed for the Baltimore Colts. The football is sitting at the 31-yard line. It's second down and 4. John Stallworth, 82. Wide left, John McMakin, 89, in at a tight end position. Bradshaw gives the football to Fuqua again. And he of the fancy dress is dropped at the 31.
Continuing that recap, Steve Bartkowski, headed for the Falcons, has hit 6 of 8 passes for 133 yards thus far. time of possession, the Steelers way ahead, 17 minutes and 20 seconds, and the All-Stars have had it in only 7 minutes and 40 seconds, but field position has been sensational for the Stars.
Isolated look at Robert Brazil. He's busy. Perhaps his enthusiasm has led him slightly astray a couple of times, but he gets it figured out. Look out.
And he stuck that shoulder in there.
All right, it's 3rd down and 4 now for the Steelers from the 31. Bradshaw, great protection. Now the heat comes and Terry runs out of a tackle. Comes back to the 31, maybe the 32. 88, Dave Wasick was the man that put the initial pressure on him. Then along came Mark Mullaney.
That was just a flash of Bradshaw in the late going last year when he used the run so effectively from the quarterback position. He got his job back in a Monday night game, our 7th game last year against Atlanta. Did not scintillate, but the Steelers won. And then he solidified his position forevermore in a subsequent Monday night game against the New Orleans Saints. That's when he really began to put it all together last year.
Virgil Livers, 24 out of Western Kentucky, and Charles Phillips, number 49 out of Southern Cal, dropping back onto the front as Bobby Walden is in for Pittsburgh. And another dandy by the old Bulls. Oh, it's a beauty. All the way back to the 13-yard line. It's Livers. He's got some blocks. He's got some daylight. He's got some room. He cuts back. He may go all the way. I don't see any penalty flags. It is 87 yards for a touchdown.
And that is some beautiful blocking and some great, great running.
A 56-yard punt and 87-yard return. The big, big block that sprung him loose was thrown by Robert Brazil, the 230-pounder from Jackson State.
And they're going crazy in this ballpark because that young man joins the Chicago Bears.
Moral of the story, do not outkick your coverage.
That's a terrible thing to say after a man just kicked a 56-yarder.
I know, but let's take a look at it again. Anytime you get a good back, a full head of steam up the field, and particularly with this pro rule, when only the 2 outside men can go with the snap of the ball, there's nobody there. He's made 15 yards before he gets any kind of action, and with that full head of steam up the field, beautiful block right there, opened it up for him, and boy, did he turn it on here.
All right, Steve Mickemeyer in for the extra point try out of the hole of Joachim, and it is good. And at 3:26 to go in the first half, we're having some fun in Chicago as the College All-Stars have come back to lead the Steelers 14-7.
There it goes again. Virgil Livers, Western Kentucky. And the cutback is brilliant. Once again, you'll see the key block thrown by Brazil out of Jackson State, the young man we discussed earlier, so raved about by Willie Davis of the All-Stars coaching staff, one of the all-time great defensive ends in the NFL. It's home free here for Virgil Livers and for the Chicago Bears fans who anticipate the arrival of Walter Payton and Livers this year, a moment of fandom ecstasy.
And tomorrow, pro football over most of these ABC stations as ABC's Wide World of Sports goes to 3 hours for exclusive coverage of the Pro Football Hall of Fame game live from Canton, Ohio, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Washington Redskins. That's at 4 Eastern Time tomorrow over most of these ABC stations, and here's the kickoff. It's Dickie Morton. Looked like Neil Colsey. Nope, wasn't Colsey. It was Tim Gray out of Texas A&M, a first-round draft pick headed for the St. Louis Cardinals.
And that was as good an open field tackle as you'll see. He had all that momentum. He didn't have time for balance, but he just kept the bead. That's where you keep your eye on the belt buckle, and you don't watch the head and shoulders.
I have never seen, let's look at it again, Bud Wilkinson so happy in my life. I've worked a number of these games with him, and he's always rooting for the All-Stars. When victory seems impossible, now it seems very possible. Look at that tackle.
A little way to go yet, Howard, but it's the enthusiasm with which the All-Stars are playing, and enthusiasm is bred from something good happening to you.
The football is at the 15-yard line. Pittsburgh has had the ball at the 15, 14, 13, 13, 12, and 15, so they have not been wallowing in good field position so far tonight. They've had to struggle. John Fuqua carries, gets short yardage.
You know, it would be great. We're getting 2 new franchises in the league in '76, Seattle and Tampa. Wouldn't it be great if those two teams could get this whole all-star squad split up to begin as expansion teams?
There are 21 number one draft choices playing for the All-Stars. That might make them contenders in a very short period of years.
Lloyd Nordstrom and Hugh Culverhouse just suddenly started hating you, Howard, right there. Second down and 8 yards to go.
Yeah, good fellas.
Really be a dream, and you're right, they are great people, both of them. The first unit defense is now back in for the All-Stars. Bradshaw goes short. The play is well short of the needed yardage for the first down as Preston Pearson, number 26, came out of the backfield to make the catch. They roll him out at just over the 20, out around the 23-yard line. It'll be third down and 2 at halftime. Bud Wilkinson and I are going to talk some about college football for 1975. As you see, the attendance at a very big house, 54,562. And Howard Cosell will have some comments and a prognosis on what we can anticipate in the National Football League for 1975. So we've got a timeout called with 2 minutes remaining in the first half of play, and the College All-Stars are leading by a score of 14-7.
The return of the Buckeye Virgil Leonard is an all-star record.
14-7, the Steelers have the ball. Some exciting moments coming up.
Pabst began back in 1844 as America's first premium beer. Today, Pabst Blue Ribbon remains the standard of quality, the only beer with good old-time flavor. That's why we challenge you to taste and compare Pabst with any other beer. You'll never go back to anything else. When it comes to quality, you can taste the difference. And our quality means the best tasting beer you can get. Pabst. Since 1844, the quality has always come through.
This is the tire we ran on tough roads around the world. And here's the next step in steel-belted radials from Sears. Road Handler. With wider radial design than the tire that tamed the mountains of Morocco. Road Handler, with more steel guts than the tire that beat the Baja. Road Handler, with better wet cornering traction than the tire that ran East Africa. Wider radial design, more steel. Road Handler, only at Sears.
Off the next play, we'll get a comment from Bud Wilkinson regarding the type of offense that John McKay is using in the ball game. It's a little bit different than most pro teams are accustomed to looking at. It's third down and 2 right here as Bradshaw sets him. Gives the ball to Pearson, and Pearson goes for the first down. A penalty flag flutters through the soft summer night in Chicago. So while they define the decision, let's talk about that defense, Coach.
Well, defensively, most of the pro teams play with 4 down linemen. Last year in New England, Chuck Fairbanks set it up with 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers rather than the customary 4 down linemen with 3 linebackers. The big advantage in the defense is the mobility of 4 linebackers against wide plays and also the outside linebackers getting back against the pass. I'm sure that the Steelers are well aware of the defense, but you've got some awfully good people executing it, too. Those 3 down linemen, Fanning, Hartenstein, and White, are about as good as you can find, and they've got the quickness and the speed to be able to be tough in the middle with only 3 men.
I was talking with Gil Brandt, the super scout of the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, Tom Landry will make the decision, the original plan, to use Randy White, number 94, out of Maryland, as a linebacker. But having lost the time that he's losing with the All-Stars, instead of being in the Dallas camp and working as a down lineman, they may use him that way all this year at Dallas.
I think they'll use him somewhere because he can play.
That was a holding call against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ball's backed up inside the 15, third down 11. Bradshaw puts it up, has a man over the middle, and fights for the ball, and a great catch. The ball was resting on the shoulders of Larry Brown with that defender right there, and lo and behold, Brown pulled it down.
That ball was almost balanced for a couple of strides as he was running with it.
Yeah, but Brown has become a solid football player. Tight end was the one position popularly regarded as the weak position on the Steelers.
Let's watch it again. You see that ball bouncing around, but his hands were on it all the way. Great catch.
Brown has really grown into the position.
18-yard gain, first down. Pittsburgh, they're on 34. Drew Mahalik had his head turned the other way. Couldn't see the ball as Bradshaw puts it up in a few points.
One moment, please. Ladies and gentlemen, operation difficulties at the point of origination have caused an interruption in the audio portion of our program. Please stand by.
Utah is putting in a pretty good night's work in the absence of Franco Harris as he moves the football close to a first down near the All-Star 46.
He's a good slippery back with more power than you'd expect from him. He was once a giant, believe it or not, Bud, and he came over with Henry Davis in a trade. And then he signed up with the World Football League along with L.C. Greenwood. More on that later.
Time ticking away. Steelers go in an audible without a huddle. Bradshaw drops the football. Down he goes. Great play by Mac Mitchell, number 83 out of Houston. Headed for Cleveland.
And that's one that makes you shake your head when that's the quarterback that won the Super Bowl last year. The ball is a little wet, as we said. The field had a very, very hard thunderstorm. The officials tried to keep it dry, but as he brought it back, that slingshot motion, it just got away from him.
Timeout call. 14-yard loss on the play. I'm not going to try to alibi for Terry Bradshaw. I'm certainly not going to do it because he doesn't need anybody alibying for him. But that football they use at night games in the NFL is a little bit different kind of ball. It's slick. Because I tell you, I've tried to catch it.
That proves absolutely nothing.
It does. That's right.
Have you tried to catch it with people after you?
Do.
They're only warming up.
Well, as I was saying, Fuqua and Greenwood both signed contracts with the World Football League. As you look at that play one more time, and the Pittsburgh management handled the situation beautifully. That's what I meant when I earlier said they're a together team. They wish them both luck, said, if they'll pay you that kind of money, go ahead. As events proved out, the World Football League couldn't pay that kind of money. Greenwood and Fuqua are welcome back, both signed and happy with the team that they helped to make Super Bowl champions.
They have some paper profits, Howard, and my investments have been that way, too.
The football is sitting back now at the Pittsburgh 41-yard line, third down, and about 15 yards to go. We have 28 seconds to play in the first half. Bradshaw is going to put it up. Nobody to throw to, tries to run it out, can't do it. Mike Manning, number 90, was the man who anchored him. There he is, Chuck Knox. He'll be coming west soon.
That'll make them happy out there, especially in the wake of a brouhaha over the Cullen Bryant situation, whom Commissioner Pete Rozelle has just redeclared a member of the L.A. Rams, with the Detroit Lions getting the number 1 Rams draft choice next year that the Rams had acquired from Green Bay in the Johnny Hadle deal. I hope you followed all of that. It's technically accurate.
I'm sure it is, Howard.
Sometimes we spend more time in the law courts today than we do in the arena.
Virgil Ivers backs up for the Pittsburgh punt with 5 seconds to play in the first half. The All-Stars have sacked the Steeler quarterback 4 times for a loss of 30 yards, and now time runs out.
Who would have thought the All-Stars would be ahead?
Oh, stop grinning. With our score, the College All-Stars 14, the Pittsburgh Steelers 7. We'll return for halftime after a word from your local station.
Dick Gautier plays Show-Offs next week at noon, 11 Central on ABC.
Jimmy Hoffa still missing. He says his son says he's been kidnapped. Details after the ball game on the Channel 4 Action News.
It's no surprise the finest bagpipes in the world are made in Scotland. When this craftsman finishes, the result is a quality product that isn't duplicated anywhere.
The same is true of my favorite beer, Genesee.
In all the world, there's only one brewery that makes Genesee beer. One brewery for that one and only Jenny taste.
If I could have any beer in the world right now, I'd choose a Jenny.
Genesee beer. Our one brewery makes it best.
WTAE-TV Channel 4 in Pittsburgh.
Side of the street.
Next weekend, the prestigious PGA Golf Championship will be coming your way exclusively here on ABC. Friday night at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific, 9:30 Central Time, will feature a special half-hour look at the first two rounds. On Saturday, we'll bring you live coverage of the third round beginning at 5 Eastern Time. The final round next Sunday beginning at 4:30 Eastern Time. Will the winner be Jack Nicklaus, Johnny Miller, Lee Trevino, Tom Watson, or Arnold Palmer? Be with us all next weekend over most of these ABC stations and find out.
Well, there you are, and I don't think there's anyone in the country that isn't surprised by the way things are here in Chicago at Soldier Field at halftime with the All-Stars leading 14-7. Interesting to me that they've been able to penetrate the Pittsburgh offensive blocking for 4 sacks and a total of 30 yards in losses. Also, I think it's worth noting that the Pittsburgh Steelers have made some very obvious mistakes, but remember, this is the first formal outing for them this year, and it's a sleek, well-trimmed football team, but they're up against some big young fellas coming out of college football that I think prove something. I think it proves that the college football player of today, there are a greater number of good ones than ever before.
Well, there are a greater number of fine athletes in all sports, but I think particularly in college football, Keith, and there are 21 number-1 draft choices playing for the All-Stars tonight. In addition to the technical proficiency of the players, the best field position that the Steelers ever had the ball in the first half was their own 15-yard line, and believe me, only behind 14-7 with that kind of action, you're not playing badly.
All right, 1975 in college football. We talk about balance. We also must, I think, concern ourselves with the Big Ten decision to go ahead and let somebody else play in some other bowl games. Don't keep good football teams like Michigan and Wisconsin and Michigan State at home. Let them go play, which they should. The Pacific 8 Conference has not cast its formal vote as yet, but I polled most of the people out there, and they indicate there will be unanimity in their decision, which means there may be 3 other teams from that conference available. So I don't think, Bud, we're going to see too many teams with 6-5 records going to postseason games, but I think we're going to see a lot more enthusiasm.
I think so, too, and we'll have teams that have that name recognition that gives bowls a little added tradition, a little added momentum. Going around the country real quickly with the teams that we believe are going to be the strong ones in the Southeastern Conference, everybody says Alabama, and Bear Bryant concurs that Alabama is going to be awfully good. A new team picked in the Southwest Conference, Texas A&M. In the Big 8 again, Oklahoma being picked as national champions, followed by Nebraska. You know about the coast.
Well, it's going to be the same twosome UCLA, USC with California, Stanford right there. And there are some people who think Don James is going to put things back up together in Seattle, the University of Washington. So there'll be balance out there, too. But about the television schedule for 1975, Bud, we start with successive Monday nights. On September 8th, the Missouri Tigers will be going down to Birmingham against the Crimson Tide of Alabama. And I think we'll find out a great deal about Bear Bryant's ball club right there. You know, Bear Bryant averaged last year some 63 players per game. Missouri Tigers, on the other hand, are a Big 8 club in their time.
And that was returning quarterback Richard Todd passing to George Pugh. Pardon me, this is the Missouri that was passed to Bybee, and this is Chuck Miller, a great running back for Missouri. This is a wishbone team like Alabama, as we see another pass, and this Missouri team will be ready in Birmingham to see if they can test the Crimson Tide. And this is a Bear in his 18th year. He's going after his 5th consecutive Southeastern Conference championship. That's his returning back, quarterback Todd, passing to George Pugh. And I remember Bear telling me when this boy, Calvin Culliver, was a freshman, that he was perhaps the best athlete that he had at Alabama. It's going to be some game.
The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame will go to Foxborough against Boston College in a game that has a lot of magic in it.
Well, Notre Dame lost Tom Clements, who's one of the class quarterbacks that I've seen in the last few years, but they returned their fullback best. They've got 35 Letterman back. They've got Ken McAfee, who was a wide receiver last year, be a tight end this year. About 6'4", 250 pounds. Notre Dame, under a new coach, Dan Devine, will still be Notre Dame. But I believe that Boston College is for real. This game has been sold out for 3 months. They came on very strong at the end of last season, and believe me, the Eagles will be ready to play the Fighting Irish.
What they say, they could have sold 150,000 tickets if it could have found a house that big?
I think that's right. And when you get two of the schools together, it kind of reminds me of the great days of Newt Rockne, Frank Leahy, and all the rest, when you have Boston College going against Notre Dame.
Well, those are the first 2 games. Notre Dame, Boston College on September 15, September 8, Missouri at Alabama. Then you go on down with all of the traditionals right to the end of the season. Howard Cosell will be along in just a moment to talk about the NFL.
A chair for Rex, please.
Relax, Rex.
Stuntman! Take 27. Action!
Good fallout, pretty good fallout. What do you think, Rex? I'd like to see one more.
Rex, you look like you'd use some Gatorade.
Gatorade Thirst Quencher helps replace what your body is thirsty for. Give your body what it's thirsty for.
Ready for take 28?
Gatorade.
Hey, Schick takes the stick out.
Schick takes the stick out.
Schick takes the stick out of shaving with smoother, close-shaving, Teflon-coated blades. Look, a straight razor has no Teflon, so it can stick before cutting. But Schick Injector with Teflon cuts cleaner, with 39% less pull. Schick Injector with exclusive Teflon. Now on injected twin blades, too. Schick takes the stick out.
For smoother, close shaves.
What's the difference between a Honda and a Honda? The first Honda is the Honda Civic CVCC with the brilliantly responsive CVCC engine. The other Honda is simply the Honda Civic, the lowest priced car in America. It got 41 miles per gallon and doesn't need a catalytic converter. Honda and Honda's other Honda. Honda Civic, what the world is coming to.
The 1976 Summer and Winter Olympics will soon capture the attention of the world, and America's very finest athletes will be competing in the Games as members of the United States Olympic team. Here's how every American can help. Send $5 today to the U.S. Olympic Committee, Box 1976, Cathedral Station, Boston, Massachusetts. Zip code is 02118. In appreciation, you'll receive a colorful embroidered patch commemorating America's participation in the 1976 Winter and Summer Olympics. That's $5 to the U.S. Olympic Committee, Box 1976, Cathedral Station, Boston, Massachusetts, 02118.
We're back live at Soldier Field, Chicago, where astonishingly, as you can see, the College All-Stars lead the Pittsburgh Steelers 14-7 at halftime. The deciding score up to this point being a brilliant kick run by young Virgil Livers of Western Kentucky, who will be joining the Chicago Bears this year. In the meantime, let's look ahead a little bit, if we might, to what can be anticipated in the National Football League this current season. In terms of our own Monday night football schedule, we think we've got the best we've ever had, beginning with Oakland at Miami, following up with Green Bay at Denver, moving to Dallas at Detroit, and then going on to St. Louis against Washington, which should be a dilly. It goes that way all year long. Looking at the respective conference races, I think the toughest, the most balanced, the most dramatic will be in the Eastern Division of the American Football Conference. There you've got the favorite, Miami, with another brilliant coaching job assured of because of the presence of Shula. You'll have a dramatically improved young team in the Baltimore Colts and a young quarterback, Burt Jones. You will have a vastly reinforced New York Jets defense, Namath back, great receivers, and, of course, John Riggins and Emerson Boozer. If New England can stay healthy, they lost Stingley, Cunningham, and Bob Windsor a year ago. This year, they've got Russ Francis, whom you've already seen excel in the first half of this game at tight end. If they can keep healthy this year, together with Plunkett, they will be outstanding. The Bills have the juice, and they proved themselves good enough to be in the playoffs a year ago. So this should be the tightest race of all, with, I repeat, Miami the favorite. The Central Division of that conference, well, once again, Pittsburgh should prevail, but not without exciting competition from a reinforced Cincinnati team, which had its running backs felled by injuries a year ago. And Houston is a coming team, as they proved last season when they wound up at 500 after a doleful start. Look at the kids down there. They'll be getting next season. Brazil, Emmett Edwards, and a young running back that you haven't yet seen because of a damaged foot, Don Hardiman. He's not been in action tonight. Cleveland will be improved, though they don't figure to win in that division. And in the West, once again, look for a showdown struggle between the Raiders and Denver. Over in the other conference, the National Conference, the Eastern Division, it should again be a three-way struggle between Dallas, Washington, and the St. Louis team, which surprised so many people a year ago. In the center, again, it figures to be Minnesota, but Green Bay should be interesting under Starr. And watching Walter Payton and Virgil Livers here tonight, you can see that the Bears will be, as I said earlier in characterizing another team, dramatically improved. Out in the West, Well, here it seems to once again be the year of the Rams. Based upon the Hadel deal, they had a tremendous draft. Mike Fanning, number 90 down there, has looked great. The key to the Rams and their hopes for the Super Bowl, because they've shored up with wide receivers, first by acquiring Otto Stowe in a trade with Denver, and then by acquiring Ron Jesse in the hotly disputed and controversial deal. He had played out his option with Detroit. They now have the speed they needed at wide receiver. So the key is, can Jim Harris do the job at quarterback? If so, the Rams could be the Super Bowl champions this year. And that, I think, gives you some insight into what we can expect in National Football League play this year. Now let's go back to Keith Jackson.
The College All-Star Game is being brought to you by Sears, home of the Road Handler, the next stop in Sears steel-belted radios. By Mutual of New York, money for the future. By Manpower Antiperspirant, the new antiperspirant with the power to help keep you dry. And by American Express Traveler's Checks. Don't leave home without them. We're at halftime, and the College All-Stars lead the Pittsburgh Steelers by a score of 14-7. And Roy Gerella will put the ball on the tee and knock it off. The All-Stars led 7-0 on a 28-yard pass play from Steve Bartkowski of California, who's been brilliant. McAnally hospitalized with a fractured shin just above the ankle. Randy Grossman caught a Bradshaw pass for the Pittsburgh touchdown, and then the long run by Livers. So the second half is underway, and it goes to Livers again. "25 yards on the return. He came skating up through there and got him excited for a moment. Crowd of better than 54,000 people. Tackled by Steve Furness and Donnie Shell for Pittsburgh. The All-Stars in blue and the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the white. Now we'll check across the All-Star offensive lineup as they come out. It's Hara, Huff, Davis, Bodine, Schumacher, and Francis. Steve Bartkowski of California, the Golden Bear, #1 draft pick, is the quarterback. That's Emmett Edwards, moving in motion. Turns upfield as Bartkowski hands the ball off inside to Stan Winfrey, number 23, a 223-pounder out of Arkansas State. The other setback is 39, Willard Harrell. He is out of Pacific, and he's headed for Green Bay. Larry Burton, number 22, is one of the wide receivers. And Burton now has left the field, and Pete Demerly of Notre Dame, number 85, has come in at a wide position. 46 is Emmett Edwards of Kansas. And Bartkowski back to throw, has time, gets it all. It's caught by Francis. He hooks up with Russ Francis at the Pittsburgh 37-yard line.
We told you about Russ Francis at the very start of the game. He is destined. Everybody feels for greatness. The play's being called back. Penalty flag on the field, which doesn't change the nature of Francis's ability to catch the football. And with his size, the action often first begins after he catches it. He'll be going up against Bob Windsor, who made one of the guttiest, gamest plays of last season and got racked up for it, the knee, and so Bob's future may be questioned. But Russ Francis gives the Patriots tight end protection. They'll be happy at Foxborough with Russ Francis.
And the pass that has been really burning Pittsburgh all night has been this crossing pattern. You can see the secondary overrunning it just a little bit, but a great throw by Bartkowski. Just laid it right in there perfectly as we look at Russ Francis, former University of Oregon player, now with the New England Patriots.
The penalties are now even, 5 apiece, and 65 yards. And the football is moved back to the 27-yard line, where it is second down. They've got to go just beyond the 45 for the first down. So they're looking at 2nd and 22. And nothing there. The loss of the yard is Willard Harrell, a 179-pounder, tried to wiggle out and couldn't do it as Joe Green and Ernie Holmes pinned him down.
And there's a great passing record by Bartkowski from the University of California going to the Falcons. 6 of 8 for 133 yards in the first half, and his first pass here in the second half completed for a big gain, called back with a holding penalty. Bradshaw, too, having a good night, 12 of 16.
All right, let's make it now. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 on third down. protection to pass over the middle. It was tipped by Jack Lambert, number 58, and even at that, Francis almost got a hand on it, didn't he? So it is 4th down and a kicking down now for the College All-Stars at 13:19 to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Collegians lead 14-7. Neil Claybo is in to do the punting. He's from Tennessee, headed for Minnesota. It's Dickie Morton and Dick Kahn deep for the Steelers. Kick. Spiral. Haynes taken by the short man Kahn. Penalty flag. Lewis Wright rode him down. 40-yard punt, 8-yard return, and we've got a penalty coming up.
That Wright is going to make somebody's specialty teams. He's from San Jose State, drafted by the Broncos, and he has been in on the tackles on the specialty teams.
That's exactly right. Second time we've seen him do that. I don't even see Franco Harris on the bench, Bud.
No, he's not. I haven't seen him either, Howard. I was looking for him.
Well, I think that bruised shoulder, there's no reason for him really to sit out here if he's not going to play anymore. Get some ice on it to stop the swelling and hopefully get him ready as soon as possible to play again.
Well, that's going to delimit the Steelers' chances for a prolonged comeback in this second half. A lot of time.
Flipping call against the Steelers. The football is put back at the 28-yard line. First down. Lewis and Shanklin are the wide men. Handoff goes to Preston Pearson. And he takes it from the 28 to the 31 for 3. Glenn Cameron, number 43, out of Florida, linebacker, headed for the Cincinnati Bengals, makes the tackle.
Really can't say too much about Mike Fanning of Notre Dame and the Rams, Hartenstein of Penn State and the Bears, and Randy White of Maryland and the Cowboys. Those 3 down linemen for the All-Stars have been the heart of their defense.
Together with Brazil.
Brazil has been awfully tough, and so has Cameron, an outside linebacker.
Second down and 7 to go. Terry Bradshaw has gone all the way at quarterback for Pittsburgh. He's back to throw. He gets it off. Penalty flags are down. The pass is incomplete. He had Pearson and Shanklin both going deep. There were 4 blue shirts all over him, and penalty flags were thrown in the area. You may have a holding call out there in the secondary. Bob Frederick, the referee, will define it.
I agree with what you said, Bud, as we watch this penalty paced off against the All-Stars. It was just as Keith told you, a holding penalty.
The football is advanced out just beyond the 36-yard line. They'll move the chains and put up the first down marker. There's the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. And it has slowly but surely come together tonight under the pressure of this all-star defense. Ball is handed off to Fuqua. They stop him momentarily, but then he wiggles a little bit, and he'll steal a yard from you after you got a hold of him.
I was saying, Bud, I agree with you when you said there's a lot of time for this game to go the Steelers' way, but the point is, there's Harris coming out now. It takes a lot longer time when you don't have Franco Harris chewing up those huge chunks of yardage.
And he gives you that extra 6, that extra 8, and sometimes breaks it where the ordinary back isn't going to do it for you. And I guess that his being back out here indicates not a bad injury and the Steelers' desire to win the game.
Second down and 9 yards to go from the 38-yard line. Pearson. And Pearson is down at the 41. 55, Ralph Ortega is there with some help from his buddies.
It's a rather strange thing Johnny McKay said before the game. He hoped they'd be able to force Bradshaw to throw. And the Steelers obviously trying to run it here, but Bradshaw hit 12 of 16. So while the Stars are ahead and the strategy looks good, the statistics don't quite bear it out.
Pearson gained about 3. It'll be 3rd down and 6. From right around the 41-yard line of Pittsburgh. 3rd quarter, 11:10 to go in period number 3, and the All-Stars still lead it 14-7. Bradshaw throws to Pearson. Slipped right through Preston's hand. Neil Colsey of Ohio State pounded him.
Reminded me of Johnny Tatum, the way he came up on that one. Big play for the Star defense there, getting the ball back after only 1 first down, and that from a penalty.
Livers and Charles Phillips will go deep. Livers is deep. Phillips is short. Bobby Walden will do the punting. There's 24. Broke 187 yards to give the All-Stars the lead in the second quarter. High snap for Bobby. He handles it. This time he does not overkick his coverage.
You were so right, Chief.
Not that time.
43 yards on the punt. No return. 10:52 to go, third quarter. 14-7, the Collegians lead.
We'll be here all day waxing this jalopy.
The 55, Dad. It's a classic.
It's a heap.
I'll have it done in no time at all. It's easy. I've got kit.
Soft.
Kit's pretty softened. Here, I'll just try with that.
Slides on easy.
Kit liquefies as it hits the finish. Deep cleans. Wipes off easy. J-Wax Kit. There's no easier, faster way to get a long-lasting paste wax shine. Unless somebody else does it for you.
You missed a spot.
Look, new Manpower antiperspirant. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Compare it yourself. Manpower has more power to help keep you dry than the sprays that most men use. And it's a powerful deodorant with a long-lasting masculine scent. Manpower has enough going for it that the people who make it will give you your money back if you're not satisfied. Just send the cap to Manpower. New Manpower spray and unique stick, both guaranteed. Fair enough?
John McKay facing the sidelines with his staff. All-Stars have rushed 8 times in the ball game, picked up 6 yards, which is why probably that Alan Carter is in at tailback and Harold Hinson's in at fullback now, as a change in the backfield, with Bartkowski remaining as the quarterback. And Steve the throw. Better hurry. Gets it off. Sideline. Oh, Bradovich was the man out there to tight end from Southern Cal. Headed for the New York Giants. 7th-round draft pick. He's 6'2", 225, and he almost got it.
Looked like he was afraid of going out of bounds and held up just a little bit because of his fear of the sideline.
So the All-Stars put it in the air on first down from their 17-yard line. They're looking at 2nd and 10 now. Pete Dimmerly back in, and Larry Burton again leaves. Remember, Burton is a speedster, and he was involved in a 56-yard pass play early in the game. He's out for the moment, and Dimmerly's in. Dimmerly, a very fine route man. Here's Edwards is wide open, and he dropped the football. Emmett Edwards of Kansas, who has been the man in motion all night. That's the first time they've thrown to him. The Steelers let him go, and he was wide open and dropped it.
And we had the safety blitz again that time by the Steelers. Bartowski reading it again very, very well and finding the open man, Edwards, but Edwards not finding the handle on the ball. Let's watch it again. Here's Edwards. Downfield, a little in pattern, a weave to the outside. He's wide open because of that safety blitz and simply took his eye off the ball. Unfortunate.
Can't believe the way they're springing men loose against that Pittsburgh secondary. Didn't see that all last year.
Two speedsters
Bartowski's doing a great job of reading it.
Larry Burton is in along with Solomon. Bartkowski gives the ball to Solomon. And Solomon running with the football as he cut back on a counter, gets across the 20 up to the 22. That is not enough for a first down. And now Neil Claypool, with the wind at his back, will be called to punt it out.
Solomon is a great athlete. As you mentioned earlier, Bud, a second-round draft choice by the Miami Dolphins. Played quarterback at the University of Tampa, but he's being used as a wide receiver tonight, which is the position he'll play for the Dolphins.
If he does play some quarterback, we'll see a change in attack by the All-Stars with Solomon running the option plays.
Claypool's kick, best one he's had all night. Gets it to turnover, and he backs Dickie Morton all the way back to the 24-yard line. And he brings it back to the 32. 49-yard punt and a 4-yard return. The All-Stars still lead it 14-7.
When the sun goes down and you catch the last wave of the afternoon and take that long, sweet ride home, none of the wipeouts seem to matter. Now comes Miller time. Time to look back on all the big ones of the day with the best-tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
You've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer.
Road Handler, the next step in steel-belted radials from Sears, with wider radial design than the tire that tamed the mountains of Morocco. Road Handler, with more steel under a deeper tread than our tire that ran the granite roads of Greece. Only at Sears.
The football is located just outside the 31-yard line. First down for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Frenchie Fuqua and Preston Pearson remain the backs, and we raised the question, as Howard just did, where is Rocky Bleier? He's not been in for some time. Franco Harris, we know about. Bradshaw continues to put it up. Runs out of a tackle. Now he throws incomplete. He came up short of the line of scrimmage and delivered. There's Bleier sitting on the bench. It's an incomplete forward pass.
Bradshaw's strong back there. You get to him, and he's almost like a running back. He's got such great pace.
Well, that was, of course, one yardstick of his play in the late going last year when he finally emerged as a brilliant quarterback. This year, as Keith said, right at the top of the game, he has a sleek 201. He's taken off 15 pounds and more, and he's quicker than ever. I don't think he's lost any strength, but that was a rather shabby throw.
But the receivers were not looking for the ball.
That's true.
And we get the word from the sidelines, there is nothing wrong with Rocky Bleier. He's fully fit and ready to play from tall. Bradshaw to throw again on second down, throws, and it is complete. John Stallworth, number 82, makes the grab, almost gets up and gets away. Pickup of 11, it'll be a first down for the Steelers.
This is Stallworth. Lots of time to throw the ball. About 5 seconds. Bradshaw getting no rush at all. Stallworth starting the streak pattern, then quickly putting on the brakes, turning back to the inside, and pass is a little bit low as he comes back for it. He has to go to the ground and make the catch. He's not hit, but he is as he gets up.
Football is at the 43. First down, Steelers. Five-man front this time by the All-Stars. Give it to Fuqua, and it pays off as Mike Fanning, number 90. Right place, right time, got his man.
Fanning is number 90.
Go ahead, Bud.
You got it hard. Notre Dame and the Rams, and strong.
47, John Davis for the All-Stars. Tell you, when you handle Gravel, who's a 250-pounder, drafted in 72 in the second round, you're all right.
Arm and shoulder strength.
Second down. Call it 9 yards to go from near the 44 now for the Steelers. Clock running, 8:15 to go, third quarter. Bradshaw to throw. Terry hums one, got his man. It's a little bit short. Intended for Larry Brown. He caught it on the short hop that's incomplete. You know, last year the sponsor of the All-Star game, the Chicago Tribune's Charities Incorporated, made donations to more than 100 organizations serving the needy. Among recipients, Council of Catholic Youth, Young Men's Jewish Council, American Indian Center, and Chicago Child Care Society.
Larry Brown was clear for that one. That was not, despite Terry's very good statistics on the total evening, that was not a very good throw.
The pass protection of the Steeler line, though, Howard, has just been magnificent. He's had time back there to really survey the field.
John McKay's changed his defense a little now. He's gone for a 5-man front here for a while. That's the old, looks like the 52, the way he sent him up there. As Bradshaw again has time, goes, it is in and out of the hands of Richard Wood. He had it, and it slipped away. Pass intended for Stallworth.
He really looked surprised. I don't think he believed the ball was coming to him.
I got to tell you, Wood has looked pretty good tonight, too, except for the lone time he was suckered by Randy Grossman as Pittsburgh scored its touchdown.
That can happen to you on the goal line, Howard, because you can't stop everything when they're on the 2-yard line. You've got to take your gamble, and if you take the gamble on the run and they come up with a well fake of the run and the throw, it burns most people.
Bobby Walden to punt, number 39 in the white shirt. Hangs at nose up. Now it turns over, and Virgil Livers drops it. And covers it. Back inside the 15-yard line. 42 yards on the punt. No return. And we've got 7:50 go, third quarter. And the score remains. All-Stars 14, Steelers 7.
What you're looking at now is really a preview of the game you'll be seeing tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern Time over most of these ABC stations. The Pro Football Hall of Fame, the Washington Redskins, number 42, Charlie Taylor, against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals beat the Redskins a year ago. George Allen remembers it vividly, said the Bengals had the best special teams in the league. They got more than that. They got Ken Anderson, George.
From the 14-yard line, the All-Stars now will try to work it out as Lewis Carter, number 32, the tailback, carries the ball, and Dwight White, number 78 for the Steelers, knocks him down. Stan Winfrey is in the lineup in the setback position for the All-Stars, and we got a change now as we get number 46, Emmett Edwards, coming in. And leaving the lineup, it looks like Dimmerly. Let's see who it is. He turns and get his number. But Edwards is, in fact, back in. It was Walter White of Maryland who went out of the ball game. All right, second down and 9. From the 15 as Bartkowski goes to throw, and he won't throw this time because the front four were coming. And it was number 68 and number 78, and I believe it was White, and that's the first time the Steelers have nailed Bartkowski tonight.
They had the blitz on, and it came so fast he couldn't read where the open man was, and he had no chance.
But Keith mentioned that that's the first sack tonight, and that may be the most compelling statistic of the ball game, because the Steelers, as everyone knows, have a penchant for sacking the quarterback. Bartkowski has had good protection tonight, and he has been a sharp passer.
And everybody looks alike unless they have time to throw.
Well, he's standing in slippery ground now. He's back on the 4-yard line. He's got to go to the 24 for a first down. And it's third down coming up for him. He'll work on the ground. He gives it away to Lewis Carter. Did he get him in the end zone?
No, not quite.
About a foot away from the goal line. So the All-Stars now are going to give up the ball to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers have to get it in good field position. Jack Ham was the man that made that tackle. Number 40 for Pittsburgh and White is Dickie Morton out of Arkansas, and 22 is Dick Kahn from Georgia. And Mr. Neil Claybo from Tennessee. Hasn't got a whole lot of room. Gets it off. High hanger. Kahn. Lewis Wright. Get in.
3 times tonight. John Ralston, you're watching. You and the Bronco fans have to be happy about the performance of that young man tonight.
Great punt, 54 yards, no return. 5:54 to go in the third quarter.
We did it before, and we can do it again. This time, it's a nationwide sale from Chrysler Corporation.
Yeah, Joe.
All right. You can get up to $300 cash back on new 1975 Plymouth, Dodges, and full-size Chryslers. And $200 back on Dusters, Valiant, Dart, Dodge pickups, and vans. Come on down to your participating Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealers for their nationwide sale.
We did it before. We'll do it again.
Your father's father's father asked for it. Your father's father asked for it. Your father asked for it. And today, more fathers ask for it than ever before. Mothers, too. Generation after generation, quality has made Pennzoil the ask-for motor oil.
Franco Harris standing there. Wanting, it seems, as he paces, maybe to come back in. But he's not there now. It is still Pearson and Fuqua. With Terry Bradshaw at midfield, faking, rolling, looking, and being held. And he doesn't go down, but the play is blown dead at the 45-yard line.
Well, there's our friend Brazil again, going to Houston. I said at halftime, Houston, which was such an improved team a year ago, had a tremendous draft. Emmett Edwards has shown the ability to get loose, though he dropped a critical pass when he was all alone. The young wide receiver from Kansas. You haven't seen Hardeman tonight, but I like what I see about Houston's future. Look at it again, Bud.
This is Brazil. Talked about him. Watch him pivot, come back. And that's the kind of balance that you're really looking for. But look at the strength in Bradshaw's legs as he just refuses to go down. The referee blows the ball dead right here. But Bradshaw still has that great balance.
That's the 5th sack of Bradshaw for 35 yards by the All-Stars. Losses back to the 45. It's 2nd and 15. This time he has better protection, and the ball is deflected and knocked away by Charles Phillips, number 49.
I can't believe the way this team is playing defense, especially in that secondary. And one of the things to look at is in relationship to the draft, how interestingly teams seek to shore up their weaknesses. We've watched Colsey tonight and Phillips tonight. They've both done superbly well, both drafted by Al Davis, the Shruti who runs the Oakland Raiders. So Al has felt and saw late in the season last year that he had weaknesses in that secondary. He's quickly rebuilding with young men like these.
They don't win without that secondary.
Bradshaw, 1 for 6 for 21 yards first half. Second half, rather, this half. Been your week. Back to throw again. Dave Wassick, number 88 out of San Jose, makes the tackle in the 6th sack for the All-Stars.
And that's a critical series for the All-Stars. In this half, the Pittsburgh team got the ball on their 28. Next exchange on the 32. On this last one right at midfield, it appeared that they were momentum going, score to score, and the All-Stars have snuffed them off here and have caused them to lose almost 10 yards and 3 downs, and the Steelers must kick. Critical series for the Stars.
On 4th and 19, Bobby Walden is in to punt. Virgil Livers going deep again. Remember, only your men off the end, the wide men, can go before the ball is actually kicked. It's a low punt, goes this time to Phillips. Charles Phillips runs into a whole lot of white shirts as he gets it out to about the 24-yard line. 38 yards, 3 yards return. Here's Howard with an old friend of ours.
Recognize this fella, past PGA champion, member of our golf broadcast team, and you'll be seeing and hearing from him next week in the great PGA tournament.
Should be a fine tournament too, Howard. It's a great golf course and the last major championship of the year, and I'm sure that just everyone will be trying to win it.
Well, as I said, David won one major tournament, and as he puts it, between himself and Nicholas, they together have won 15 major tournaments. Good to see you.
Thank you, Howard. Good to see you.
On the snap. All-Stars maintain control. And, David, they don't let any amateurs play in the PGA, do they? The way things are going here tonight, if this is an omen, look out. There's a loss of almost 2 yards on the play. Let's call it 2nd down and 12. Loss from the 26 back to inside the 25.
And I think that's the first mechanical error that the Stars have made, with the exception of a couple of passes that Bartkowski's had right on the Marnie that has been dropped.
Emily is the wide man to the left for the All-Stars. Bartkowski will throw it. Joe Green almost got him. He goes deep down the sidelines, and it's intended for Solomon. And no flag, incomplete. Under collegiate rules, you might well have had a flag there.
But the ball was so far away from the receiver that the way it's interpreted in pro ball, there's no chance of making the catch anyway, so the doubtful calls are not made.
We have Joe Gillum warming up on the sidelines. We may see him in the ball game in the next offensive series, but we'll see. Right now, the All-Stars have the ball, 3rd down and 12 from their own 24. Bartkowski to throw. Joe Green's got him. There's a penalty flag back in the secondary. Looks like Joe was delivering a small lecture there. Laughing about it. Darrell Carlton of Tampa, 260-pounder, and Joe were tangled up.
Call is for defensive holding, Keith. Will be a first down for the All-Stars. J.T. Thomas, the miscreant.
Against Russ Francis, and the way Francis has been getting open, Howard, I don't blame him.
That that's a little bit of a mismatch, too, because Thomas is a big man at 6'2", 196. But Francis is 6'6", 245, and wrestled for the last year. So he's a horse. That carries an automatic first down, I believe, and takes it up very near the 30-yard line. Edwards in motion. Last time they threw to him, he was wide open and dropped it. Handoff is to Peyton, number 34 for the All-Stars. And Joe Green knocks him down. There's Joe Gillis breaking up.
The All-Stars were going to run at Green because they felt that his mobility and desire to make tackles all over the field might make him a little bit vulnerable in there, but he's an all-around man. He takes care of it where it begins, and then he takes care of it all over the rest of the field.
We've got 3:29 left in the third quarter. The college All-Stars preserving their lead. Chuck Noll has to be getting more than a little bit itchy. His pride's at stake, and that of his team, and that of the NFL.
On 2nd and 8, Bartkowski to throw again. Goes deep. Francis, and Russ Francis cannot get to the ball. The ball was well overthrown, and Francis goes down in a heap, but he gets up. J.T. Thomas and Mike Wagner, 23 and 24, were right there.
What I love about Francis, Bud, is his ability, in spite of his size, to deep receive, to get downfield with such swiftness.
He also makes the very sharp, clean break. You don't expect a big man to make that kind of a break. The very fast, light receivers, Lance Allworth, Bambi types, you expect them to do it, but you don't expect the big men to do it.
All right, it's 3rd down and 8 now for the college All-Stars from the 31-yard line. Emmett Edwards in motion. They throw it off to Peyton. And Peyton running for the first down. Slides up very near the 40-yard line, and he may have it. 14 yards if the ball is right on it, and the linesman marks it right on the 40. It'll be a first down. Up, they're going to measure. Pittsburgh Steelers said, wait a minute, hold it. A change made for making sure.
I don't think it measures any different from this side of the field.
3:04 to go in the third quarter of play.
I think deserving of comment is the fact that apart from the loss of Franco Harris, the Steelers have gone all of the way with their regulars. It's McKay who's been shuttling people in and out.
With an all-star squad, it helps you if everybody knows they're going to play. In order to get everybody to really work hard in practice, you tell them you're going to play. And if you've told them that, you've got to play them. And it also keeps them fresh. And on a hot night, believe me, that helps.
That's why you lost 38-7.
Oh, we played a lot of them. We had 79 that year.
The ball is loose on the snap, and Pittsburgh recovers it. All right, that's the first major mistake around the line of scrimmage. They bobbled it a little while ago, but were able to retain it. This time, they lost it. Jack Lambert.
Only the first the second turnover of the game, which gives you pretty good index to the efficiency of play here. This early in the year, the All-Stars have been, I think, astonishing.
They have been, but the pressure's on them at this moment.
The football is at the 35-yard line for the Pittsburgh Steelers, first down. Bradshaw put it up. His 23rd pass of the ball game goes to Francis Fuqua. And Fuqua is out at the 26-yard line. That's a pickup of about 9 yards before Drew Mihalik, number 45 of Notre Dame, property of the Denver Broncos, makes the tackle.
It'll take some kind of play by the All-Stars to stop Pittsburgh here. The momentum's on their side. They've been looking at this defense long enough now to have it well analyzed. The weakness seems to be in the short pass zones where they're putting the pressure on the inexperienced outside linebackers.
All right, Brazil comes in replacing Mihalik. They're going for muscle under these circumstances. Randy White, Otha Bradley, Mike Fanning are the men up front. Ortega, Cameron, and Wood, the linebackers for the All-Stars. The handoff to Fuqua. Into the middle he goes and powers his way for the first down to about the 20-yard line. minutes left to play in the third quarter, and Pittsburgh has the football. First down at the All-Star 20. Along the front, it's Kolb, Clack, Mansfield, Mullins, Gravel. Tied in is Larry Brown for the Steelers. Up in the middle where the big men play, that's where they'll probably grind this one. Bukla ducks inside, slips outside, runs through a tackle and gets 5.
Tricky little runner, Bud, that Bukla, as I said before. First time I ever saw him was in a great college football game. He was playing for Morgan State at Yankee Stadium in an Urban Center charity affair against Grambling College, the quarterback for whom was Jim Harris.
I remember the game well. And he has got that little move. He gave it that juke on the outside instead of trying to get around, as an inexperienced back would do, and took it inside to get the 5.
Second down 5 from the All-Star 15. Reggie Harrison, number 46, out of Cincinnati, is in the lineup at a setback position. Bradshaw put it up. Goes over the middle, throws it back into the hands of Ralph Ortega, number 55. And he's running like a fullback.
You've got to figure that the dark lights on that end of the field momentarily distracted Bradshaw. There was no receiver there.
I don't understand that play at all. Be that as it may, the momentum has now been reversed.
Ortega brought it back 28 yards. The All-Stars have blunted the most serious threat the Steelers have had in a while. Another look.
Running fake, Bradshaw apparently thought someone was there, and as you could see, not a single white shirt anywhere around. And Ortega does have some kind of athletic ability.
National Football League owners have to have mixed feelings about what they're saying. Ortega drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons have to be pleased by Ortega's play tonight, and similarly, other owners have to be pleased by the play of their draft choices tonight. But the league prestige is at stake, on the line, and they are losing to the college All-Stars, Super Bowl champions.
35-yard line, and we'll get a little grounding call on that one because Ernie Holmes, number 63, came like a fallen tree, and Bartkowski was trying to get rid of it.
He reflexed right, but too late.
Well, Ernie's growing that arrow on top of his head again, so that means he's getting in the right frame of mind.
And I believe the whole Steeler team is beginning to get in that right frame of mind. Coming alive.
The last time the All-Stars won was over the Green Bay Packers here in 1963, and the penalty now marked off against the All-Stars to move it back to the 20-yard line. Mansfield, as a matter of fact, the venerable center for the Pittsburgh Steelers, was on that All-Star squad that won in 1963.
Ron Vanderkellen of Wisconsin had a great night at quarterback as they beat Green Bay 20-17.
Vanderkellen.
He had a great night with us at the golf outing last night.
All right.
One of the few.
At the 20-yard line. They've got to go to the 45. It's second down and 25, and it's Fred Solomon in motion as Bartkowski tries to throw it up the middle, and no place to go. Alan Carter runs into Ernie Holmes, and that, my friends, is all you need.
And that play and the play before it was exactly why the Gipper picked Ernie Holmes as his defensive player of the year last year. You're right, Bud. They're getting fired up now.
Oh, yes. Pride that you've been talking about, Howard is beginning to break through the standard pattern of play, and they've really come alive.
We're inside 10 seconds to go in the third quarter. Time may expire before this play's underway. And it does. So we've had 3 quarters of football here at Soldier Field in Chicago. And our scoreboard, College All-Stars 14, Pittsburgh Steelers 7.
Boy, am I glad we picked up the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Smells good, doesn't it? You know, when my mom used to bring Kentucky Fried Chicken home, I could hardly wait for a taste. She'd set it out all hot and golden with the fixings all around, and I'd be taking in that aroma and getting so hungry, I'd be trying to sneak a piece right from under her nose. Can you imagine that?
And you got to say, hey, hey, Kentucky Fried Chicken, yeah.
Most people think I'm a real monster, but actually I'm quite sensitive.
That's why I drink light beer from Miller. Tastes great. But what I really like is it's less filling. And light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer. I can't afford to get filled up. I'm too sensitive.
Okay, Mr. Sensitive, you're up.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Leslie Nielsen plays You Don't Say next week at 4, 3 Central on ABC.
The legendary Datsun Z. It's not for everybody. So we put some of the same engineering into our luxury family car, Datsun 610. Overhead cam engine, independent suspension, radials, Datsun 610 from the same engineers who brought you the Z. Datsun saves.
See your nearby Datsun dealer and learn how many ways Datsun saves.
Good morning, America. Come join us for scrambled eggs and sausage.
You're the one. These eggs are scrambling for you. You're the one. Atlanta and Peoria.
McDonald's scrambled eggs and sausage. 2 fresh eggs scrambled up light and fluffy with a patty of pure country pork sausage. Try it.
You deserve a break today at McDonald's.
We do it all for you.
This is WTAE-TV Channel 4 in Pittsburgh.
We go now to the final 15 minutes of the football game. The All-Stars persevering, holding on 14-7. I would suggest to you that the All-Star defense is welcoming a respite. We'll show you why when we look at the stats in a moment. It is 3rd down and about a quarter of a mile to go for the All-Stars. The football is back at the 13-yard line. They've got to go to the 35 for the first down. So on the 3rd down and 22 needed, he's going deep down the sideline for Edwards, and it's just tipped over his fingertips by J.T. Thomas.
Let's look at this again, Bud. Emmett Edwards, draft choice, Houston Oilers, out of Kansas. Probably the fastest man on the squad, or maybe only second to Burton, the speedster from Purdue.
But that one,
just tipped by J.T.
Beautiful play by J.T. and a great throw, just 6 inches or so from the streak pattern, hitting him and going all the way.
Now it's up to Claypool, standing at his goal line to really hit it. He's going into a breeze. The rush on, he gets it off. The kicker is down, no flag, short kick. Return from the 48-yard line. And Dick Kahn is rolled down at the All-Star 42, 37 yards on the punt, 9-yard on the return, and Joe Gillum goes in at quarterback, and here's the statistics after 3 quarters. The Steelers have had 52 plays, the All-Stars only 30 offensive plays.
And yet, significantly, Keith, the Steelers have only gained 69 yards rushing. That's about half of what, well, a little more than half of what Franco Harris alone usually gains in a game. So they haven't had the balance in their offense because of the absence of the rushing game that usually attaches.
Rocky Bleier is back in at a setback position with Joe Gillum now at quarterback, number 17. He started the season at quarterback for them a year ago. Here's the handoff now to Reggie Harrison, 46, the 220-pounder. Randy White hits him as he moves the football from the 42 down to the 34.
The 133 yards that the Stars have gained were picked up almost entirely in the first quarter. So since that time, and in the air, since that time, the Steeler defense has been superb. The long punt return, 87 yards by Livers, being the second touchdown. The Steelers have really dominated play since about the first 8 or 10 minutes.
Defensive front now for the All-Stars, spanning Otha Bradley, 75, Randy White, and Robert Brazil. On 2nd down, 2. From the 34, it's Harrison, first down. Breaks the 30, goes to the 28.
Suddenly, under Jefferson Street, Joe Gillum, the Steelers are moving. Don't tell me as I look at our statistician, Jerry O'Neill, who co-authored Rocky Bleier's book, Fighting Back, which will be published shortly. We're going to go through last year's scene again, Keith.
Might go through it in reverse.
You know, Chuck Noll went on record in training camp that Bradshaw was his quarterback. May still well be. Certainly no reason to doubt it. I'm interested in how you authors stick together. First down for the Steelers at the 28-yard line. And it's Harrison again, a heavy-legged sort of a fellow who's very quick, gets down to the 23.
Notice how suddenly the Steelers' offensive forward wall is cleaning out the middle there, Bud?
they've been moving it reasonably well all of the time. It's been the inaccurate throwing that has stalled their offense most of this game. Gilliam hasn't put it up yet, but when Gilliam does, we'll see whether his passing is sharper than Bradshaw's has been this evening.
Harrison has perked up the ground game. He's carried 3 times, gained 19 yards. Mac Mitchell, 83 in now, as Randy White gets a breather on the All-Star defense. Joe Gilliam pitches to Rocky Bleier. And Rocky Bleier takes it from the 23 for a first down. He goes all the way to the All-Star 8-yard line, or maybe the 9. Jerry Mullins, number 72, threw the big block that got him loose.
Mike Fanning thought that he could catch it, but the Notre Dame back Bleier outran the Notre Dame end Fanning.
At the 9-yard line, first down and goal to go for Pittsburgh. 12 minutes and 8 seconds to play in the football game. They need a touchdown to tie the All-Star. That's Harrison to the 5. Inside the 5 before he is shoved back. Again, it's the work of Mike Webster, number 52, relieving Ray Mansfield at center and Jerry Mullins. On the left side, it's John Kolb and Jim Quack. Gordon Gravel playing on the right side of Mullins for the Steelers up front. Ball is just inside the 5-yard line. Second down, goal to go. It's Bleier. He's dropped. And the man making the stop is Neil Cozy, number 20.
He read it beautifully, came across. There was just no place to go. Bleier had to go inside, and there was no running room there.
And there is a loss back to the 6-yard line, where it is third down and goal to go. Watch Cozy, number 20, come up. Going to test a little metal right here.
Oh, yes.
Gilliam to throw. Has a man. Bleier. Touchdown.
Well, Rocky Bleier made a difference when Noel put him back in.
Little crossing pattern. They were in a man-to-man defense. Bleier on the cross was wide open.
Now the Steelers need the extra point from Roy Gerela to tie at 14. With 10 minutes and 19 seconds to play in the ball game. Steelers taking it 42 yards, 8 plays, 4 minutes, 23 seconds. The kick is good. So now let's see what happens over the next 10 minutes and 19 seconds as we once again are all even at 14.
Hey, Mom, where's Dad? I don't know. He's half an hour late already.
All units, I have a 1053 in Sector 5.
Charlie 3 responding.
Charlie 3, proceed to Route 6, overpass, probable injuries.
Nancy, he comes up the table for you. Daddy gets home.
What would your family do if one night you didn't come home?
I have an injured and a possible fatal. Request 2 ambulances and a couple of wreckers.
They're on their way.
What would they do if you became the other guy in a car accident?
1098 here.
Make notifications to the families involved.
We at Money, Mutual of New York, know how reluctant some people are to discuss life insurance. But if you'll call a Money representative, we'll help plan your family's future. Just in case, one night, you're the one who doesn't come home.
Mrs. Hagen, your husband's been in an accident. He'll be all right. He was the lucky one.
Mutual of New York. Money for the future.
Well, here we go. Virgil Ivers, 24, Walter Payton, 34, are the beat men for Gerela's kickoff. One would think that the All-Stars would stretch a little bit here, trying to get themselves back into a reasonably good field position, so they'd have some room.
The last series, the Steeler defense put the pressure on as they did in the playoffs and Super Bowl. The Stars can't afford the loss, and as you say, Keith, they've got to get this ball out of beyond the 25-yard line.
Varela hits it a ton. Knocks it deep in the end zone. No. Walter Payton says to Lyra, wait a minute. Stay in there. So they'll bring it out to the 20.
This is the best all-star game, obviously, we have had in many years. The Steelers languishing in the score, although dominating the play, as Bud Wilkinson pointed out. That never really matters, Bud. As Leo DeRoche always used to say, how did I come out? But now they're back to a die. Jefferson Street, Joe Gillum turned it around and made it look easy as the Steelers marched more than 40 yards in 7 plays to tie it up. Rocky Blyer, the key factor, picking off the touchdown pass.
Setbacks are Stan Winfrey, 23, Alan Carter, 42. Bartkowski is the quarterback, and Emmett Edwards is in motion for the All-Stars. Here's the pitch to Alan Carter. And the Southern California Trojan gets it up to the 23-yard line. There will be, in case you have wondered, since we're playing NFL rules, there will be no overtime. That came up today. Bud Carson was at a meeting of the officials, and Bud very quietly said, off the Pittsburgh coaching staff, since you're playing pro rules, fellas, what happens if we tie? Well, everybody around the table kind of giggled.
Nobody expected it to be this
we
close.
We got a tie right now, don't we? Anyway, there will be no overtime. Walter Payton is back in at the tailback position along with Winfrey. Russ Francis is your tight end. On second down and 7, Bartkowski to throw. He gets it off. He's got Francis. He cannot reach the ball. It is out of bounds and incomplete. Mike Wagner was covering the big guy from Oregon. Penalty flag on the field.
Offensive holding.
Talked a lot about Russ Francis. He's his own pilot, and he had an experience early in the year. It was related to me that he got lost in the clouds between Seattle and Portland, wallowed around up there for a few terrifying moments, but toughed it out and handled it okay. All right, the mark off against the All-Stars for offensive holding with 9 minutes and 19 seconds to play. And what was reasonable field position has now become very hazardous area.
Notice that the mark-off was for 10 yards, Keith. Since you've been so efficient in explaining the pro rules, why don't you tell them why it's 10 and not 15?
Because it's pro rules. In college, it'd be 15.
Happened within that 3-yard zone.
Right. All-Stars now 95 yards in penalties. Steelers 90, and Bartkowski tries to throw it away to Payton. Now Payton's in a foot race trying to get to the sidelines, and he gets it up to the 19-yard line. That's as far as he can go before Jimmy Allen out of UCLA, playing now wearing 45 in white for the Steelers, brings him down.
Johnny McKay said before the game, and we talked about at the top of the show, that he hoped to go into the fourth quarter with the score close. Thus far, his game plan is on schedule, even though it appears that the Steelers are beginning to have by far the best of the
Well,
going.
if you remember now, 2 years ago against the Dolphins, John McKay's All-Stars lost by only 14-3, and they were in the game until late.
Different game, though. Didn't have the compelling interest of this game all the way. The Dolphins led, and that was it.
They need this one.
Third down and 12 yards to go. Got to go to the 30. The ball can't slip loose in there as Steve Bartkowski had to jump on it.
It's the third time they fumbled the exchange. That ball must be getting a little wet, even though they exchanged 3 of them.
So the Golden Bear with the golden pockets is not successful, and the All-Stars will have to punt.
Except for one rookie draft choice, Dave Brown, defensive back from Michigan, #1 Steeler draft choice. They'll be the same team that won the Super Bowl last year. This team did not have a good draft this year.
Playboy, the punt, snap is on the money. Hanging kick, Dickie Morton drops it, falls down on it, and they will mark the ball right around the 40-yard line. where the Pittsburgh Steelers will have it after a 41-yard punt and no return. There's a yellow flag, a penalty flag on the field with 7:37 to go in the game, and we're even at 14.
We had one of the All-Stars leave too early.
That's right.
Only the outside men go with the snap.
As you and Bud know, fellas, the Pittsburgh team was built squarely on the draft. Chuck Noll had a magnificent series of drafts, I suspect most particularly in 1971, when his #1 draft choice was Frank Lewis out of Grambling College, and 7 others off of that draft list stayed with the team and are members of the Super Bowl team. Typical. Each year they added to the team in its strength. When Chuck Noll took over in 1970, they were nothing.
All right, Neil Clabo has to back up 5 more yards into the end zone. They hit his punt and gets a bad one this time. Slithered off the side of the foot.
Could be a good one.
Bounces out of bounds at the 45-yard line. So instead of Pittsburgh having the ball at their own 40, now they have it at the All-Star 45 with 7.5 minutes to go, and it's still 14-14.
This is the tire we ran on top roads around the world. And here's the next step in steel-belted radials from Sears. Road Handler. With wider radial design than the tire that tamed the mountains of Morocco. Road Handler. With more steel guts than the tire that beat the Baja. Road Handler. With better wet cornering traction than the tire that ran East Africa. Wider radial design. More steel. Road Handler. Only at Sears.
Who is that Dusty in the beer, anyhow? Man, is it hot.
You know how those horses act up.
When you have to get the beer, don't fool around. Get the beer named after the city that means beer, Old Milwaukee. It's a tough name to live up to, but Old Milwaukee tastes as great as its name.
Great beer, Dusty. Oh, what took you so long?
Well, I want to tell you, little fella, I got bushwhacked at the pass.
7.5 minutes to go in this football game. In the second half, the All-Stars have gained only 9 paltry yards. Now the Steelers have it first down at the All-Star 45-yard line, and let's see how it rolls for us. Joe Gillum gives to Harrison, and Reggie Harrison bangs in there for 3.
At this point, Keith, you begin to wonder which college player will be named the most valuable player of the game. At the end of the first half, there would have seemed to have been Stan Question. It would have been Bartkowski. But in the second half, Steve has gone 0 for 7 in the passing department. Now you either think of Virgil Livers with the great kick run, or maybe some of those defensive workmen tonight. Brazil out of Jackson State, or Fanning out of Notre Dame.
Second down, a long 6 for Pittsburgh outside the All-Star 41. Joe Gillum unloads it to Blyer. Short, hit hard at the 38. It is short of a first down.
The Steeler defense has been really dominant since the first quarter. Bartkowski has made only 12 yards passing, and as a team, they've made a total of 16 yards in the second and third quarter, and thus far here in the fourth quarter.
I just saw Colsey, by the way, make another great tackle on Blyer. He was shaken up in the process, but number 20 of Ohio State going to Oakland is another to be considered.
And this play is key to the All-Stars' chances to hang in there for a tie or possible victory. They've got to prevent the first down.
Frank Lewis has been very quiet tonight. He's wide to the left. On 3rd and 4, Gillum. Larry Brown, the tight end, and he should have the first down. He does. It'll be first down Pittsburgh at the All-Star 33, or thereabouts, right about the 33-yard line.
Gillum is looking as he did last year in the preseason when he won the quarterback job.
He really coolly put that one in there, and with 5:32 to go, the ball on the 34, it looks as though Pittsburgh is in command.
Joe surprised you. His arm motion is not as severe as some of the quarterbacks, but he puts a lot of zip on it with his wrist. Delivers the ball well. Over the middle, it's for Lewis. I knew they had to go to Lewis sooner or later, and it just missed him. It would have been worth 6.
A little more rush that time from the Stars, but really not enough. Let's take a look at Lewis here as he's down the field, and it's the weave in, the weave out, and then the post pattern, and he's open underneath the deep defenders.
Mildly overthrown.
But it does put a new idea in the All-Star secondary's mind, collective mind, because suddenly here was a guy who had not been heard from tonight, almost putting them behind.
Eddie Robinson, the brilliant coach at Grambling, has said in the past Lewis may have been the greatest football player he's yet produced down there, all around in terms of athletic ability and football.
Second down and pass. Fakes, and Blyer freezes the linebacker. Now Blyer catches the pass, and Rockets going down the sideline with an escort all the way to the All-Star 18-yard line. Jim Clack, number 50, 6'3", 250, came out of Wake Forest as a free agent in 1970, and he's a pillar for the offensive line.
A pillar.
He's a big one.
And that was as good execution as you can have on the screen pass. The fake of the draw, the freeze. Gillum looked as though he was being rushed, which is the key to making the screen work. Dropped it off, hit Blyer perfectly in stride, and then the great blocking ahead.
Well, look at as we move in on Jefferson Street. Cool cat tonight.
First down, All-Star 18. Harrison goes down in a heap in the hands of Mike Fanning. Loss is back outside the 21, and a Steeler is shaken up. Looks like it might be Harrison.
I want to remind all the folks before the...
Our score is 14-14, timeout on the field. Joe Gillum back to throw. Delivers to Lewis.
There he goes.
Touchdown. 22 yards. And the Steelers have the lead for the first time tonight. Lewis is the 8th different Steeler to catch a football.
Hard enough to pick them up when you're going against the grain, but on a wet track like this one, you slide as you try to change direction, and the All-Star secondary had no chance.
Zarella for the kick. As we see the replay, it is raining again now in Chicago. And the kick is good. And so we have 4 minutes and 16 seconds to play. The Steelers have the lead over the All-Stars for the first time, 21-14. I haven't seen any lightning nor heard any thunder, but the rain is coming down quite steadily now. We had a horrendous downpour at 6:30 tonight.
Well, John McKay can feel proud of the job he's done.
I think the whole coaching staff from Southern California did a super job.
And Jefferson Street Joe Gillum can be proud of the job he's done. In 2 possessions since he took over as quarterback, he's led the team to 2 touchdowns each drive, averaging 42.45 yards, or rather than 2 drives averaging. Jefferson Street Joe.
Zarella will kick off. It'll be Payton and Livers deep for the College All-Stars with only 4 minutes and 16 seconds to play in the game.
And they have not done much, Keith, since the first quarter. If they've got a few things left up their sleeve, this is the time. I'd like the 2-point college rule to be in effect, though. If they do score a touchdown, I'd like to see them be able to go for 2.
Ball is teed up at the 35-yard line now by Zarella. Here we go. He got all of it. Back to the goal line. And it's Payton. Back to the 24. First down, All-Stars at that point. We have not seen Joachim as yet at quarterback. Bartkowski comes on, and he will call the signal.
I've got to go with that. He certainly has played extremely well.
Reggie Harrison, by the way, twisted his knee just mildly. We're told he'll be fine.
Emmett Edwards comes wide right. Pete Dimmerly goes wide left. Obradovich is the tight end. They have not thrown to him much lately, and they don't this time. They dump it off to Don Hardiman, number 30, out of Texas A&I, who will play for the Houston Oilers. He's another big back, 6'2", 230.
First time we've seen him tonight. He's been troubled a little bit by a bad foot, and now John has put him in here in the very late going, hopeful of starting something. He was a first-round draft choice by the Oilers, and we've talked before about how strongly we feel about the Oilers draft list.
There's the time ticking away with 2nd down and 8 coming up from the 27-yard line. For the All-Stars, they trail by 7, 21 to 14. The front fours are coming. Penalty flags are down. Bartkowski throws it in out of the hands of Emmett Edwards as he got away from J.T. Thomas. Might have an offensive holding call here because either that or illegal procedure, but I tell you, the front four for Pittsburgh were digging in and coming that time.
It's kind of a terrifying sight, too.
All last year, all you saw was 68 Greenwood, 78 White, 75 Green, 63 Holmes. The last quarter and a half, they've really been playing football.
It's a procedure call against the All-Stars, declined by the Pittsburgh Steelers. They'd rather have them turn that sign over on the sideline that says 3rd down.
When it's 3rd and 8, you like it that way.
3:15 to go in the ball game. Solomon is in as a wide receiver. He comes right, Dimmerly goes left. Here's the rush. The pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage, and Jack Lambert snorting around thinking he should have had that one for an interception.
And that front four is really putting it on now. Bartkowski's beginning to have to move for his life back there.
I'll tell you one thing that's happened, too, is Jerry Klein has kept the watch going. Bartkowski is having lesser and lesser amounts of time in which to do his business.
It takes around 3 to 4 seconds for the receivers to run their patterns normally, and when you don't have that much time, there's no pattern developed.
4th down, play ball will punt. Not a particularly good kick. Dickie Morton at the 28, dropped at the 32.
That's our boy again.
Lewis Wright.
That's 4 times tonight a flag, meanwhile, has been thrown down.
Flag is thrown at the Pittsburgh 38-yard line.
You're an All-Star fan, you're thinking fumble. Something like that. Anything to give us the ball, and hopefully in good field position.
Marked off now against the Pittsburgh Steelers, gives Pittsburgh 8 penalties for 105 yards, and the All-Stars 11 penalties for 108 yards. Looking along the front for the Steelers is pretty much the starters, except for Sam Davis, 57. He's in a guard position. Mike Webster at center, number 52. Dave Reeves, 74, is also up front. Hardest flyer, and Pupler the setback. Bill Gillen gives it to Pupler, and he cuts it up the middle, all the way to the 25-yard line. That's a pickup of 8 as he took it from the 17 to the 25.
As this game's gone along, the Steelers have adjusted extremely well, but caught them a little bit off balance in the first quarter, and they've just increased their dominance as the minutes have rolled.
They're also older, stronger, wiser, and they're moving out that all-star tired defensive front wall.
2.5 minutes to go. 2nd down. 2 yards to go for the first down from the 25. It's Pupler for the first down as he gets across the 25, 6, 7, close to the 28-yard line before Mark Mullaney, 73, out of Colorado State, who was a first-round pick by the Minnesota Vikings, 6'6", 237. Put him on some weights and some good salty cornbread, and he'll probably grow quite a bit. And even 2 minutes to go in the football game. The Pittsburgh Steelers, 21, College All-Stars, 14.
You should have seen this.
was a bachelor. Every night, girls in satin pantsuits, see Colony Ruby Chablis. Not a lot of dazzle and flash, just terrific taste. And that's something you can live with for a long, long time.
Italian Swiss Colony, the taste America's coming home to.
I'm a ball player, and I get to do commercials. But when I opened my own restaurant last year, I faced the same problem as any new businessman: how to reach people. The Yellow Pages helped put my restaurant on the map, and it's still the biggest part of our advertising. If you want to go into business, the Yellow Pages can help you too, even if your name's not Johnny Bench.
Let your fingers do the walking. It's a snap. Advertise in the Yellow Pages.
All right, we're back, ready for the final 2 minutes of the game. You see the score. The Steelers 21 with a late comeback. The college all-stars who performed stubbornly and often brilliantly 14.
First down, Pittsburgh Steelers. The ball near the 28-yard line. They're on 28. They can afford to play conservatively now with only 2 minutes to play. They give the ball to Rocky Flyer. And Rocky tucks it inside and just rips it off the right side and goes up to about the 34.
Gentlemen, at this point, let's make our own choices as to who should be the most valuable player for the college all-stars. I go with Bartkowski.
I'll vote with you, Howard, although I've got to say that I think their defense has played awfully well, and Bob Brazil would be a man that I'd highly consider. Keith?
I have great sympathy for the big guys up in the trenches myself, but I think on the basis of what's been accomplished, Bartkowski would have to get the vote. Second down and 4 yards to go from the 34 for the Steelers. Again, it's Flyer. He's a little short of his first down, maybe a yard, as he's piled up around the 37-yard line.
Howard, you spoke of the weary defense of the Stars. They should be weary. They played 41 minutes and 30 seconds out of this game.
That's right.
Speaking of Bartkowski, Keith, while his effectiveness materially diminished in the second half in terms of statistics, you can't blame him when an Emmett Edwards drops a couple of passes.
Right. Don't forget tomorrow, the Pro Football Hall of Fame game, live from Canton, Ohio, 4 Eastern Time over most of these stations, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Washington Redskins. It is a first down now for the Steelers at the 38-yard line as Gillum McKee gives to Rocky Flyer. And Rocky gets up to the 41-yard line as we come to 25 seconds. I'd like to pay our respects to the man who worked hard on this one tonight, the executive producer of ABC Sports, being Roone Arledge. Coverage of the College All-Star Game produced by Terry Jastro and directed by Andy Sedaris. Our technical director, John Broderick. Our associate director, Roger Goodman. Engineering supervisor, Mort Romanoff. Unit manager, Bob Zinke. Assistants to the producer, Rick Lasavita and Barbara Roach. And particularly our cameraman and technical crew who labored through a thunderstorm to make it work. And the ball game is over. The Pittsburgh Steelers have defeated the College All-Stars by a score of 21-14. And now, the professionals have won 30 games, the All-Stars have won 9, and there have been 2 ties. The final score, Steelers 21, All-Stars 14. Travel arrangements made through. Promotional fee paid by United Airlines, featuring Bicentennial Fair vacations to more of your land than any other airline. Come celebrate with United's Bicentennial Fair. Presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.